Yes, we are muted. No. All right. I'm gonna unmute us so at least everybody can see the
Cool.
pre-show, since this will just be living out there.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Let's get.
What's up, everybody? We are out here doing a little pre-show action. So if you guys are catching the stream, it'll probably go to the real stuff in a couple of minutes.
Yes, sir. All right, tweet is out.
Yeah, my tweet out as well.
It's
no doubt. Vagabondo, what's up? Omar, what up? New Rad, what's going on? Chilling. check. No doubt. What's up, y'all?
What's up, Vagabondo? Omar? Yeah, New Rad's always punctual. There was one time I was even messing with chat, and he was like, hello? And I was like, hello? I'm not even live. What are you doing? So, cracked me up. Yeah. He's like, just in case. He was like, I was just checking, just in case.
Look to do it. He's a trooper, man.
Gravy, AK, Siva, of course, another Texas man holding it down here in North Texas. He's not too far from me, actually.
Alex Kilgore.
Are we going to talk more about Halo this week? Is that I really enjoyed that last week. Maybe we're just a Halo show now.
Yeah, I can't get behind that. Do you guys want to start those recordings?
He will make us the
5,
Dark Souls show.
4, 3.
Hold on.
Just start your.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I haven't even opened it up.
Yeah, I got Audacity.
We're
unprofessional today.
Unprofessional.
Really
yeah, now this is and this is what lives in the stream now. So perfect, guys. You get to see the unorganized pre-show action. Unedited, unlive, all that good stuff.
All right, I am ready to record.
I'm ready to record. Let me know.
Hold on. And
Hodor.
All right, 3, 2, 1, record. This is what'll make it up to audio. You guys just get the pre-show antics, so good stuff.
Guardians out.
Wow. And show's over. All right, see you guys. That was a good talk. Thank you. For those of you guys who are tuning in, you missed the entire... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I guess we'll actually make this official. Everybody good? Going in 5, 4, 3.
All right. And we are live. The Last Word with Lord Cognito, Ebontis, and Ty Guy Travis. Thursday evening campfire. What is going on, gentlemen? How we doing, E? What's up? Let's start with you.
Yeah, just trying to basically figure out what's going to be taking up my time in the next couple of days. We've got a couple games, and we might talk about, you know, what we're looking in after we get into at least the main topics of the show for Destiny. But I do want to kind of cover everything that happened outside of Destiny, but I want to kind of save that for the end more, because there's stuff I'm hyped for obvious reasons. There was a trailer this morning that I got up early for and everything else. So kind of course, excited for the
20-minute trailer, perhaps?
About 15, 16 minutes. Yeah, however long that was. Yeah. So we will talk about that towards the end, kind of cover a little miscellaneous topics. But yeah, just kind of got a couple games kind of pulling at me. I want to see which one I want to get into. Both of them have some length to them, so I'm trying to decide which one to start first. Travis, what about you, man? Stressed as always, trying to keep up with the review world.
Yeah, I'm on that grind. Finished my review of Riders Republic, which was a lot of time, and now I'm previewing a different game for IGN. So it'll be another busy week, and then tonight, I guess, Forza Horizon's coming out for people who have early access. So I'm going to be hopping on that hard because the reviews that came out this morning are pretty.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I'm debating on for sure.
IGN gave it a 10.
Yes.
Yeah, there are not many masterpieces. What the hell? Would you have? Deathloop was a masterpiece. Forza's a masterpiece. Was there another masterpiece this year? I feel like there was one other.
You're right. There might be.
I can't remember. I feel like
was it
Open Critic? Death Store was rated high, but I don't know if it. Yeah, I think Open Critic got the highest rated game of the year so far for Horizon 5. Yeah.
I was surprised how many. Obviously, this is like not a reason, but there's like a lot of smaller outlets that gave it like 80s and 85s. I was kind of
Yeah,
surprised.
I was kind of surprised by that. Yeah, doing very well. We got obviously having a review up right now on ILP with Addict. Shout out to him, and he had a great perspective because he's like the racing haters review. I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. But yeah, so you've been getting in the grind, Trav, with just reviews and just
Yeah, just grinding it out, dude. It's gonna be a really busy November. So this is usually like the busiest month of the year, but maybe it's not as bad this year. I mean, until
Yeah,
the Destiny 30th anniversary and the Halo Infinite are all coming out at the same time. So there's a little bit of like a lighter thing now. How about you, Cog? What have you been up to?
yeah.
Man, it's been nonstop, brother. It's been nonstop between, like you said, the review season and podcasting and it has been nonstop. The only good thing is I've been able to take my Destiny vacation still. I'm still on it. It
Nice.
feels good to be free for a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Like I know I'm coming back, but it's been about 2 weeks now. And
You haven't logged on at all in 2 weeks?
haven't logged on. I have the last time I logged on was when you guys told me the nerf for because I was about to start Festival of Lost.
And you said
And
nope.
then- and I was like, nah.
When the
And I was
nerfs happen.
yeah. Then I was
Did
like,
you
all right,
finish
well,
Disco Elysium yet?
so close to the end. That's
Oh,
what got
nice.
me.
Mm.
So
Nice.
close to the end. And the reason why it's taking me longer because I have like OCD with all like the different tasks and the quests, and I gotta like save people randomly, do other detective work. But yeah, I love that game. People are mad at me because I'm like I've completely isolated myself when I'm on gaming, and I'm like,
Yeah.
don't talk to me like I'm playing Disco Elysium. Like leave me alone. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to talk to you. Like I'm becoming very socially dysfunctional. Like it's hilarious. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
it
love
is.
that.
So good.
That I'm nowhere near the end, but I'm working my way through it, and I don't know if I told you guys this, but I pride myself on completing all the games that get nominated at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I'm on my like
Game
this
awards
is like
are
my
like your
sprint.
Game of the Year stuff for
No,
you.
the Game Awards. Like if
Game
it gets nominated, I beat it. Like that's
Ooh, I like
true
that.
for like
Is it Game of the
past
Year
decades.
or like most nominated thing?
Anything.
Oh my god!
Every
How can
nomination.
you
Get
do
nominated
that,
for
man?
anything, I
Oh
beat
my
it. Yeah.
God, Travis.
I get through it. So that's like my I pride myself on that. So there's like a few, obviously not all the nominations have been announced, so I'm trying to kind of like preempt it. Like there's some I know are going to have some sort of nomination, so I'm trying to get those done, but I'm on my final sprint. I have like 6 or 7 games that I need to beat in November if I want to stick up to the
Wait, what's left? I'm curious. I want to know what's on this list. What's left?
Yeah, so I'm not finished with Death's Door. I assume that's going to get nominated for
It's not too
something.
long. Yeah.
Psychonauts 2, and
Okay.
again, that one's not super long, but
Yeah, I
I
gotta
think
get
that one
that
will
done
probably
too.
get nominated for at least art direction or something.
Yeah, it'll get
Yeah.
down or something.
I'm like halfway through Far Cry 6, which
Oh my God.
maybe that'll be nominated for something, but I
No,
definitely want
no.
to finish that one.
I don't
Mhm.
know
see.
what that would make. I guess I haven't heard anything that would make me think it's going to get
Yeah.
nominated for anything substantial.
It's
Mm.
more that like you just expect to see those games nominated, and then pretty much everything from the first half of the year I've gotten through. I think there might be 1 or 2 that I'm still behind on. I beat Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think we talked about last week.
I
But
still got to
I
play
beat
that.
that
I've heard
game.
awesome stuff.
I beat that
yeah.
game. I beat that game in 1 day, dude.
Yeah.
I just like devoured that game. So
That's on my list. That's next. Like,
yeah, you guys should play that. That will definitely be getting nominated for something. I don't know why.
I gotta
but
get
it's
that
a
done.
great. I'm trying to think of what other ones are, but yeah, that's I've got a lot of work to do in November. All my free time is going to be catching up. So
That's hardcore. Respect. I never do that. The most we do is just like vote what we think we're gonna win in each category on ILP and stuff. But to play every game nominated in
Play and
every
beat. Not even like, hey, I
category.
want like 4 or 5 hours in this one. It's like, no, I got to roll credits on everything.
Ooh.
You know what's funny is that I did it because I was at a different outlet before IGN, and they used to do voting, and I would always get so frustrated with the Game of the Year voting because you have people voting who haven't played all the games.
Yeah.
And like you're like voting in all these categories, and people just vote for like the one game that they played or their impressions of what another game was. I just got so frustrated by that. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna like double down, and I'm just gonna next year I'm gonna play every single game so nobody can say that about me. And I've just been doing it since. And I think I started that in like 2012,
Oh, that's
2013.
gangster. I gotta give it up to you. That right there,
Yeah.
because it's true. I'm guilty of it too. Like you look at the list, like, damn, I didn't play that. But objectively, how can you really give an opinion on the game of the year or the game of whatever character if you literally didn't play that? And that, you know, when I got exposed with that, Hades. Saab exposed me.
Oh,
Saab
Hades
exposed me. He's like,
fantastic.
because at the time when it came out, I think it was Switch only at the time.
Yeah, it's
And
switching PC first.
Yeah, it was switching PC first. So I didn't know about it. He was like, I'm telling you guys are voting all these categories and none of you play Hades. You frauds.
no.
And he was on the Hades train. So I was like, look, I believe you, but I just didn't play it, so I don't know. But he's right. He's right.
Hey, that's one of those too. I will give, like, you know, everybody has their game of the year discussions, and it's like, I'm sure the war rooms are interesting on some of that type of stuff. And it's one of the podcasts I don't always listen to, Giant Bomb, but they actually do their full deliberation over the course of like 5 days over every topic. They have everybody in like one sweaty conference room. And I mean, it probably is. It's like, you know, that many people in one room is just going to be a little bit, but they actually talk through everything. And they kind of do work stuff out. And as Travis said, it's like not everybody is going to either be interested in everything or have a chance to play everything, depending on obligations, many other things. So it's like, if you can, that's amazing. But again, even within their realm, there may be like, you know, best story or best style or whatever their categories are. It's like, not everybody's you're not going to play something that's on every list. And they kind of go through and they talk about it, and, you know, somebody's gonna like make a case for something, and it's hilarious sometimes. Like, some people will make a case like so hard and be like, I was trying to put my game up for #1, but your case is like so convincing. You know, it's like that makes them kind of bump their own down just to give it one credit. So it's like, there are a lot of ways to handle that. It's like, props for trying to play everything, which is impossible for most people. But it's like, it is one of those, that's why Game of the Year is always so hard. Like, these are my opinionated games of the year. It's like, for me right now, there's a few that are really high on that list. Like Grime was like, not game of the year. I'm saying just like top ones that are remembering. Yeah. Grime for me was like a standout indie. Like, that was one of my better indies. Like, I played that, and then I played Death's Door, and I think Grime made me like appreciate Death's Door less, because I got done playing. Really? Yes.
Wow.
Because Grime is a 2D Souls game made by like 5 or 6 people. But I mean, like, Death's Door is an isometric Souls. Like, it is an action.
It's more Legend of Zelda.
Okay, fine. Like, okay, then it's a 2D, like, what's the Salt and Sanctuary?
Legend of Zelda.
Like, Salt and Sanctuary is probably a good reference for Grime.
Yeah, that's a good reference. Yeah, that's a good
reference. Grime. But they are, like, I mean, Zelda, sure, to a point, but it's like, I find action either way, but it was like, I played one hardcore action dodging progression type game, and then I went and played another one like right next to it. And like, Grime was so unique, and like the style and like the world and this weird story that it went through was just absolutely bizarre, but kind of crazy at the same time. Like, I'm trying to figure out what my character's actually doing. You get to this end sequence, and then like some of the boss fights just absolutely sat me down, and were like, no, you can try that again. And then I went through and played Death's Door, and it wasn't nearly as much of a challenge. Like, first boss I got to didn't check me. It was just like, it wasn't quite the challenge. And while it was very cool and like cool themes, after playing one that was done, I went from one that was almost done by smaller people and almost, to me, like kind of did it better in some ways, not all, but some, to that one. It's like, I always see Paris, for example, like Death's Door is like his game of the year. And it's like, I get it that it was good, but for me in reference, like, it doesn't.
Yeah, you just came from Grime. No, I know where you're coming from. I have situations like that with certain games, it's specific genres, and it's like, yeah, this is the better game. You know what I'm saying? But it may be like obscure. It's like, the way you're feeling about that, the only cross reference I have is like, because I'm such a turn-based guy with I'm playing Phoenix Protocol. Now it's on Game Pass, and I'm like, I mean, bro, and I'm an XCOM's guy. I'm like, man. Phoenix Protocol, the one that Julian Gallup, the original XCOM creator, made from XCOM UFO Defense from back in the PlayStation days when it launched, and he's now doing his own game. And man, like, I'm like, yo, this is kind of superior to XCOM on like
really.
I'm like,
That's crazy.
I'm sitting there, and I gotta understand. I'm a person that has XCOM
I
as
know. That's
God tier.
yeah.
Like that is my
You
favorite.
and
I think
Dan
it's
Stapleton, my boss at IGN, feels the
bring
same
them
way.
through.
Yeah.
Dan, pull. I am turn-based God. Like the way the way E likes Souls is how I get with turn-based game. Any turn-based game, I got to at least find out what's going on.
Talking about like a grid-based game, or like even turn-based RPGs, like the old Final
even
Fantasy?
turn-based RPGs, like turn-based.
That's why you liked Yakuza Like a Dragon, huh?
Once they told me it was turn, I was like, oh, that's the one.
Together.
I'm all in. Oh, that was like
so
my
I know
low-key,
Midnight Suns is like, if they can do it right, is the perfect combination.
Oh my god, that'll be so good.
It got delayed. We actually did see it got delayed. But honestly, as you said, I saw your tweet quick. Like you were the first one I saw on it, and I looked and read, and I was like, "You're like, this is fine. Just do it right. Yeah, just do it right." No, that's kind of where we're at on everything. So it's like, so what else have you guys played? Like, just kind of go around and pick like one game. So this is like Grime for me, Returnal, man. That for me was just a hell of a journey for me. I really thoroughly enjoyed what it did, the challenge, like the environments, and like how they combined like the time loop, bullet hell, roguelike, just the combination of genres. And it's like you saw Housemarque go from like Resogun. There's one in between which I didn't play, and I can't remember the name of like that kind of their isometric one, which looked more like Hades kind of. And then they did like this 3D. Just I'm like, damn. So like Returnal was a big one for me this year. What about you guys? What are some big games for you this year?
Deathloop.
Deathloop's
got to be on the list.
Deathloop's another one on my list. I just haven't got there yet.
It's on your list too. Yeah.
That one is so good. I think if we're talking game of the year, like what's going to take home the big prize, I think PlayStation sort of bumps itself off with like Deathloop sort of. For me, like Returnal was like the best game of the year when it came out, and then Deathloop sort of knocked it off. I was like, all right,
so
now Deathloop's the best.
So what about Deathloop did it for you? I'm curious because I sat there.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, it's like the main reason, like I started listening to, no offense to The Last Stand, I was starting to listen to their Deathloop discussion, and you had Dustin, Rick Hogue was on there, and I already knew he wasn't a fan by some of those.
Maddie was on there.
And then Maddie, and like none of them were talking high about it, and I'm like, I don't even want to listen to it. I turned it off. Didn't even want to listen to it. I didn't get into it that far because I was like,
I know Maddie does it. Yeah, okay.
I was like,
what is this issue with it?
I think he said he was like, he's like a big Arcane guy, right?
Yeah, he's like Arcane is his heart. So for him, not that he doesn't think it's terrible. He likes it. He thinks it's a good game. It's just that his thing is when it comes to other Arcane games in the Pantheon, this is like, I would say the worst Arcane game, but definitely in the middle to low tier compared to the other experiences. So his whole thing is I think he just feels that the freedom of choice and the way the level design is structured, that like you really it's limiting in comparison to past Arcane games. That's what it is. So the best example I could give, I don't know if you guys are Fallout guys, but a lot of people love Fallout 3, right? And they feel it's true RPG, right? But when 4 came out, they felt it was dumbed down. They felt there were certain aspects that were taken away. So if you're new to Fallout, right? You play Fallout 4, you're like, yo, this is amazing, right? Yeah. So his thing is just that from what he came from and their history, he sees some regression on certain things. So he's not as like, oh, this is a perfect game the way other people. He's good. He said it's good. But he just doesn't feel it's like a 9-10. But I know E wasn't trying to hear that because I know E loves that game. I'm damn.
Yeah. No, but I was like, and I can get that. And I haven't, honestly, it's my first Arcane game. So point of reference and perspective is going to be different.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What? So it's like Dishonored 1, Dishonored 2, like haven't ever played them. So for me, it's like I was playing it on stream and anybody can ask that, like when I was playing, I was having like, I didn't expect, because I wasn't entirely sure going in. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like the whole time loop thing. Can't tell on the style. I had a blast every time I booted that game up. Ask anybody in chat, and it was just like, it was so much fun. The banter between the two main people, every time you get to like a new loop, like they're giving each other, like that writing alone, I was like out the gate. I'm like, every time, it was like pure legit, just like great. I like writing and voice acting between those two the entire time. And then you start figuring out more about this. And to me, what like, if you guys have ever gone to an escape room, like in person, if you've ever done one, it was a combination of an escape room and a time loop. Because you have this like 4x4 grid, time of day and which place you want to go to. And you're trying to figure out how you can go through and do like, okay, how do I move this person? And you're trying to figure out all the chess moves to finally get to the end. But also, like, you also have the progression where you're going through and you getting the what the hell are the damn slab upgrades that you can get. And then I'm like, oh, cool, I got this one. It's like, well, yeah, you can upgrade. I'm like, I'm sorry, excuse me? So I can just literally go back in a loop to that dude again, and I can have fun. It's like, then you find a silenced pistol where I'm just like picking off heads, and just something about it every time. It's like, it was not too punishing, and that some people said the AI wasn't that smart. And I'm like, well, they are kind of dumb grunts. They're meant to be, in my understanding of like, but I was like, and then some of them were a little more, but I was like, overall, it wasn't so much about that. It was the like journey to like thread this puzzle together. And then finally, when you get to the end, and it was honestly like nice enough because if you did step away and you jump back, you don't have to remember the code to this box here is 6514 or something like that. It tells you. Like, there was some nice quality of life things I thought paired with just a fun sandbox. And I had a blast. Like, I just had an absolute blast in it, to me. So I was like,
no, everybody, people agree with you. Don't get me wrong. Like, he represents, he knows he's in the minority because for a lot of people, this is going to be their first arcane experience and they're going to absolutely love it. He still says it's a great game. Like, he's not, you know, again, this is what I call bougie game snob stuff, right? Where it's like, you know, that company, it's like if Bungie comes out, when Bungie comes out with Matt or whatever, we're going to get to compare Halo, Destiny, and we as snobs are going to know what's the thing, right? But it's still great. It's just a pantheon of greatness.
Where does it fall? Well, it doesn't have the supers or whatever. It's like it's going back to the Halo. Like, it's just gone.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That'll be a fun discussion whenever that day comes.
Yeah. For me, I always think Game of the Year should be the game that like brought the industry forward the most, like did something that like changed the landscape. And so I've talked about on this show a bunch of times since I started to get to know you since last year, that my Game of the Year last year was Half-Life Alyx, because if you play that game, there's like nothing else like it. And I'm a little, oh boy, did I talk to you guys about that a lot.
No, oh boy, I'm co-signed now that I'm VR owner. I Quest 2.
Oh, have you played it?
Whoa. Yeah. I started. I was like, okay.
It's a crazy.
Yeah. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. We'll talk definitely more about it. But continue. I want to hear about your game.
Yeah, I was gonna say this year I feel like there's not like an obvious one for me. Like one that like I just am like, you know, there's like a lot of games that do a lot of things right, like Returnal, but I kind of think Hades is still the best like roguelike game, right? Like it's still, to me, got that formula like absolutely perfect. And I feel that way about lots of games that came out this year, that like they're like Deathloop is an amazing game. It's maybe up there for my game of the year. I'm not sure yet, but it doesn't. To me, Prey is still their best their best game.
Okay. So far, and what do you have in contention? Like, what's your contention for the year so far? What's battling for the top spot for you as of right now? I know this could change.
And that's the thing, is part of me thinks that my favorite game of this year hasn't come out yet. I think Halo. It probably is. Like, Halo? But Halo's not going to be included in like the official game of the year because usually the cutoff is November. But like probably Halo, like that game is one that I played a ton this year. And then the other one would be like Forza. Forza comes out like later tonight in early access, and I could see that easily being one of my favorite games. Of course, it will never get nominated for Game of the Year. It doesn't.
I traded a tweet with Ains today about that, actually.
Oh, what did Ains say?
Oh, he just said it's like Forza's like, here, I can even look in my notifications or whatever, it's not that far.
About how it'll never get nominated. I think Ains and I were talking about that.
Yeah, basically it just said this year I formally reviewed Little Nightmares, Resident Evil Village. That's another one I played. Psychonauts 2, Deathloop, Returnal. I've played Death's Door, It Takes Two. Oh, dude, I forgot It Takes Two. I played that with my wife.
It Takes Two. I'm about to play that this week. It comes to Game Pass.
So good. Oh, who are you gonna play it with?
I don't know.
Play it with a couple.
Whoever want to jump in.
You got to play it with somebody who hasn't played it.
Yeah, you have to play it with somebody you haven't played with. Yeah, you can't play it with like Ratchet and Clank. I haven't touched, but because I'm waiting on my monitor, so that's another one. He said after reviewing Forza Horizon 5, it isn't in Game of the Year nomination. It's a big mistake, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I said, sounds like it very much deserves to be in contention for Game of the Year. Not everyone vibes on racing games, but quality products speak to themselves. Is basically what I said. And
good debate.
It is one of those that it's true. Like, racing games, I know aren't for everybody. Not everybody's a car guy. Like, honestly, I know not everybody on the podcast is probably into cars as much as I've been. It's like some are. We had Ascendant Nomad on here, and he started talking cars. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, just
that
like
was a podcast,
and I lit up on that one. Yeah, it's like because I followed cars. I had Lamborghini Countach poster on my wall forever. Like,
Ooh, the
all
Countach!
yeah. So it's like I've been into cars for so long. So when you get like the racing game that nails it, like in Forza
Yeah.
3, Motorsport 3, I think is the one that really turned me for Forza.
Yeah.
But I was like, when they nail it, they are special games when they do it right. But again, like Need for Speed Underground 2 was like one of my favorite Need for Speeds. Like, but it's never in that discussion. It's just
Never
like
in this discussion.
racing never
is.
quite makes it
so
there. It's like
weird.
racing sports. They're just kind of like
Yeah, they like-
there.
You can tell they don't like it when they give their own category for the games nobody cares about. They're like, it's racing sports. Just like throw them all in the
Combined together. Yeah, like
Like I remember, I think my game of the year Forza Horizon 4 came out, or maybe it was 3, the Australia one. That year, that was like my game of the year, and it was nominated by no one. It was like no one gave it a nomination. I was so confused, and then I realized like there's some serious bias.
There's racing and there's, let's be honest, there's multiplayer game bias too. You know what I mean? Like, like I've been hard body on Destiny with music, and I'm like, yo, it never gets a nomination type situation. Like it was, there's
always like the God of Wars and the single player stuff.
Yeah, Burnout Paradise, like Burnout Paradise, I think is one of the best. Like, how many? If you played that game, you had way too much fun, and that's one of those to where it's like, what is one of? I mean, the crash mode. People have tried to even gone back and reinvent. Like, there are certain things that, as you said, kind of transform places. And if Forza Horizon 5 does this magical thing, I was actually listening to Skilp's review about it and stuff, and even he's not like as much a racing. He wants like the car PG, like what he called that, where you get the progression. Yeah, it's like it works because like that was Need for Speed Underground. You get your clunker, you slap a crappy wing on the back, you get a little wheels, you start winning a couple races, and that's kind of description. He said Horizon's not quite that style, but he's like, even for him wanting that, he's like, it's just literally fun everywhere you go. And it's like, and that's one of those that's hard to compete. So it's like, not everybody's going to like a racing game, but man, it's like, if you like cars, and again, that's not everybody's interest, but it's like, for what it's doing, it definitely, hopefully gets, and it's a 10 for IGN. So hopefully, like, like that's got to be in the discussion now. I'll be curious.
5 Windows Central also.
Yeah, I think, like Playground Games, in my opinion, is probably like in the top 3 best developers right now. Like just period. They've never made a bad game. Their games are always getting better. I have a theory that they will not be recognized for their talent until they come out with
until Fable comes out. Yep,
because people like the RPG, they get Fable, but nobody gets the fact that they're making incredible RPGs already. And the reason that they're the perfect developer for Fable, one, because they're a British company, you got to keep Fable in Britain, and then 2, because they have already been mastering the RPG genre. It's just people don't care because it's a car game, and it makes me sad. Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny because as a person who is a racing game, I've cooled off on the simulation aspect, like the motorsport, right?
Motorsport, arcade.
Right. So what happens is when motorsports and all that stuff come out, I don't want to get the drivetrain and the camshaft. Like, I'm not any of that, right? Just throw me in there. I don't want to tweak nothing. So when Horizon came out and it was not Turn 10, it was these guys, I was like, okay. And I fell in love. And I was like, we know what I knew they was the GOAT? When they had the rewind feature. I said, this is for me. I'm trash. Let's do it again.
Motorsport had the rewind feature. Motorsport
had that
first.
But but it's just that the way the Horizon does it, and everything is a feel good. It's a festival. It's everything you do. It's like, spin, go on adventure, find these cars. And I was just like, yo, Horizon for me, and play with your friends in an open world car game. Like, I knew. I was like, this is the series for me. But I agree with you, Trav. Like, they're not gonna get their flowers, sadly, until Fable comes out, and it's a shame.
People are gonna be like, "Well, where did this like fantastic RPG company come from?" And Forza Horizon players will be like, "Bro, look at Metacritic. All their games keep increasing in their Metacritic rating, the highest rated games."
And one of Xbox's most underrated studios. We have to give it to them. And I love Obsidian, Ninja Theory, all those guys, but I would be remiss not to mention Playground. It's the greatness is too much at this point. We have to, bend the knee.
What about you, Cog? What's on your list? As we've said a couple, what's what's a game for the top for you since we've fell down this rabbit hole? And
I
people are
think-
like, "Where's the Destiny talk?" We'll get there. Don't worry.
We get there.
Not a
We
lot
get
going
there.
on, so we'll
Not a
get
lot
there.
going on. Go Trials episode 6 of
Yeah.
Destiny.
Destiny didn't have a major release this year. Also, this is
Yeah,
like one
that's
of the
true.
first years.
That is true. Yeah, for me currently right now, I'm with Trav. I don't think my game of the year has come out. I've played it yet, and that's why I still have to play Guardians and a couple others.
Yeah,
I
you
liked
have to play
Returnal,
that.
but it left a bad taste with me because I was a victim of the crash thing. So
Ew, dude.
I lost all my data, and I was just like, no, I'm not going back to you. Sorry, like I'm not risking that. Now I should try it again. Probably now that they've patched and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
now that
and the
it's
fact that they have
patched.
the save state thing.
Save
that
state's now there
really-
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but I'm talking about at the time.
Yeah.
That just got there. Like
Yep.
when the thing came out, it was none of that. So for right now, I've got in my head. Surprisingly, it's Psychonauts. Surprisingly,
Nice.
I haven't touched
right
that
now
yet.
it's like it's
It's on my
just
list.
so goofy and out there, but the way it deals with mental health in such a comedic but cool way and understanding way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like I was really impressed. So that right now that's leading, but again, I still gotta play It Takes Two, which comes out this week on Game Pass.
That
I
was
still got-
man, that was good.
Yeah, people rave about that, right? And now everyone's telling me, listen, what threw me over was Hulk. When he said Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm
I'm seeing
like,
him on Twitter. Yeah.
you? I said, because I tease Hulk all the time. I'm like, you're the most fussiest Marvel DC comic book guy I know. Like, he hates everything, right?
I,
So I'm like,
I have a friend like that. Yeah.
yeah, like he's so particular that he will just like destroy a game because of like the littlest things, in my opinion, right? So when I see a Hulk gushing about something, I'm like, oh. And
So
all
good.
my friends are saying Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, I got that. Shout out to Sinister, my share partner. So we will get that. He got that download. I said, bro, you're up. So yeah, I'm about to try that.
Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely on my list for Game of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
Unexpectedly. Was not
Yeah.
expecting that at all. It's very good. So
Yeah, man. What's going on? DJ, what's up, man? He said, what's Charles like this week?
It ain't
that's
there
what we're
this
going to
week.
be talking about, right? That's
Yep.
the topic.
Get into it. Yep.
I'm like
Yeah.
exhausted already
I'm
just
so
thinking about the
exhausted.
trials discussion.
Oh, God, same.
Well, yeah, to say the least, it's like we talk about Destiny a lot, but guys, we definitely talk about other things plenty. So
Yes.
maybe offline as opposed to during the podcast. So if you guys do enjoy discussion like this, if it's something you'd like to see tacked on at the end, you know, maybe as like just a miscellaneous games discussion, just because, you know, we always have other stuff that's going on. Me, it's like, I gotta say it now. I got to watch 15 minutes of Elden Ring gameplay and I just lost my mind this morning. I'm like, there's crafting, there's an open
Oh,
world horse, there's still Souls combat, you've got multiple
finally got a
avenues.
map.
There's but
Finally.
it's like the perfect Souls map because it's just stylized old school, but you can actually put markers on it. So you got the open world and then
Beacons.
the beacons, and then you have like one of the 6 major castle situations. God knows how big those are going to be. Multiple entrances to go in as well. I'm like, is there anything else that you can put in this game? And I probably haven't even seen it yet, but I'm like, I am so mad the timing of that game. I'm like, January was going to be so perfect because this game needs time. Because I'm like, you're going to explore the open world. Apparently, you're going to have some crafting involved. You're going to be like roaming around. Do I want to tackle this group here or wait to like tackle that chaos later? Here's this thing. Well, which way do I go in?
It will get delayed again.
I would honestly, at this point, I want it to be. I really do. Like, please.
Or Destiny. Yeah,
I,
one of the two.
yeah.
1 and 2. Somebody's got to fall, man.
And Horizon's right
It's gotta
before it.
fall.
Like,
You're playing a game of chicken.
how do you have
Somebody's gotta
Horizon
blink, man.
for Destiny and then Elden Ring in a week? Like, in 1 week? Can nobody call and be like, dude, like, can you just move it like a month? We'll give you a little, like,
Bro, somebody's got to blink. These are major releases. What Elden Ring's date is tentatively what in February? The week before? Which queen?
It's 3 days before. 3 days after.
4 days
Oh,
before and
boy.
3 days after. Yeah,
25th,
Horizon's 4
yeah.
days before. It's the 18th. Then you have the 22nd for Witch Queen and Sifu, and then you have Saints on the 25th with Elden Ring. So a week, and there's five games.
No
Most of
way.
4 of which are
no
big.
Way.
No way.
All of them come
No
out at
way,
that
all
time.
of somebody's blinking.
Saints will definitely budge. I
Saints
feel
will
like
get delayed.
Saints has
Yeah.
to get budged. But I was like, Horizon and then Destiny. It's like Elden I would love them both to move, but I'm like, Elden needs to move as it's after, because I can't make that one. Oh, it's just,
I
it
feel
looks
for you on
so
that.
good,
True.
and it's like, they're finally doing, like, they're adding just a couple more things. It's like, I already love Souls games. And even they, like, I honestly can't even remember if Bloodborne had a jump. I don't know if it did. No. And then I saw him do this little hop, and I'm like, now you can explore so much.
The jump looks so like out of place in a. I think it was in
Sekiro had like
though,
Sekiro
right?
started
Yeah.
kind of the jump, but the grappling hook was big for it because that was like crazy traversal. But the levels were still a bit more linear. Like you could have some elevation to move around in like the areas of fighting. But like this one, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna hop across this ledge and go around a completely different area. No, it's like, and just like, what does it do? A little baby jump changes the whole damn game, much less the horse that can vault up a cliffside. No, like I watched that this morning, got up, streamed it with like, a few people that were awake at that point, and I'm just like, ah. Yeah, and I just finished Alan Wake Remastered today too.
Nice. How'd you like it?
Nice. How'd you like it?
Yeah. No, it was, I mean, it's 13 years ago. Like
it's a good game, but it hasn't aged well, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like it's the age. Yeah, because it's
the age.
Yeah, I mean it's game mechanics of which you like, oh, I was fully stocked up with all the different weapons and all the ammo. I go in a helicopter and then I jump out and now I'm empty again. I'm like, what the hell? Like that's one example of, so it's like, it's one of those. Yeah. The ending is one of those where I literally must have to go look up. I'm like, I'm not entirely sure what exactly happened in the end.
Because you have to play the DLC, yeah.
And then apparently there are 2 DLCs that are on there as well, so I could check those out. But I was like, it was a, decent little experience and stuff. I don't know what I would rate it, but it's a 13-year-old game. It looks, I had some weird graphical glitches though, like messed up. Like for DLSS, I had to have it off DLSS because anytime I would like move, like certain like vertices and stuff would like flicker as I turned. I'm like, so in the beginning of the game, I had it on. I'm like, am I just like in a dream? Is everything flickering? Because I'm like, not. I thought it was that, and then I turned it off, and it's not there. I'm like, son of a. Okay, scratch that whole idea. So like that's whole thing. But later on, there was a point where like the entire lower portion of a canyon or an entire river was solid white, like so white. And then if I loaded in after I mentioned that helicopter, I jumped off. It's like, okay, you got to go over here. If I turned the screen, almost every texture was blindingly white. Yeah, like busted white. Like whatever happened in yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they don't make games for PC very well.
No, I think it was Epic.
It's Epic Game Store. Okay.
But either way, it was just like whatever happened to the remastered PC port and my computer, which I don't know. Like whatever. I was literally running it at like 50% rendered resolution, like not up, down. I was playing it at like 720p.
Yikes.
Because if I bumped it up to even 100%, the whole screen was blinding white. For whatever section I was at, I got to it and I'm like, I can't move because I would be like, I can face right here and I would be okay. And I would turn white. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, blinding seriously. I was so confused with what was going on. Yeah, blinded by the light. Ask anybody who was there this morning. It was too much. So that was that. And then the ending on top of that. And I'm like, it's fine for the ending, but yeah.
It was very cool when it came out, trust me.
I mean, I could see how it was, because like what it did was actually not bad. I could also see how some people would really get tired of the narration.
That was one of the big critiques when the reviews came out for that game, is they were like, why does this guy never shut up? And I was like, I mean, he's a writer.
I was like, he is a writer, but it's like, oh, look, I have to find somewhere to hit this switch. I'm like, no kidding, dude. That's the whole point of me being in this room, but you don't have to like verbally tell me that.
As you do it, where he's like reading more. They got the money on that voice actor.
I will
say this. Even if you didn't like the game, or even if you have no interest in it, you should go and watch the prequel mini-sodes. They did like webisodes for the show called Bright Falls, and it is unironically like some of the best like short. It's kind of like indie. It feels like an indie movie. It's like indie movie horror. It's live action. It's a prequel to Alan Wake, and it's very good.
Nice.
So my
I've heard,
odd recommendation here.
Yeah, but I've heard that could connect to Control, and there might be a feature there later. So it's like, it's one of those where I'm like,
connect to Control.
See, I've heard that,
of the universe,
and I haven't played Control again because I'm waiting to kind of play some things on my fancy monitor if it ever gets out of the port of LA, which see.
What?
But yeah, that's Yeah, it was an interesting. I literally beat it in 3 nights. So like, I looked up and they're like, oh yeah, like 11 hours. I'm like, really? And then like 14 hours if you're trying. And I didn't find every thermos. I'm like, I don't care about those. It's fine. But on the other side, I was like, how long did it take me? Like 7, 8, maybe.
Yeah.
It was not like even the 11. Like, because I looked up like how long to beat, and it was just not even there. So it was interesting. And I was like, if I can put myself 13 years ago, had some cool moments to it. I can tell you, like birds flying in, like from this, like I'm over here, and then it pans out, and there's birds flying at you from like you're 5 o'clock. I can like whip around with my mouse and like flash a light on them. I could imagine controllers like like trying to move.
Got to do that. Yeah,
Like I could imagine on console that game and apparently if you do nightmare mode, you die in one. You only have 1 life.
Nightmare mode's crazy.
And I was like, nope. No way I would do that. No, honestly, because hell no. The main reason is because like I would be like, oh,
combat's not good.
Combat's not good. You don't have that level of control. It's like that would be
That's
awful.
The thing is like if a game is challenging, I'm all down for that as long as the combat's good. If a game's challenging and the combat isn't good, it's just frustrating as all hell. It's like I'm dying and it doesn't feel fair. Like it's so bad. That's like the difference.
If you get any time in your crazy schedule, try Grime. Actually.
Oh, I'm sure it'll get nominated for something. That's on my list. I already bought it. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah. Well, we are about 38 minutes in here. We should probably talk about this game called Destiny.
We do.
What? This is not a Destiny podcast. No, but not much happened this week. We got Iron Banner. That loaded in, Saladin went into the tower. It's really sad after a holiday event, though. As we'll say, the first time you go in the tower, and it's like, you know, like the sweeper bot came through, it was like, power washed the entire place, nothing's left over, and you're like, damn, this place is kind of a ghost town now. All right. Yeah, not even seasonal Thanksgiving stuff would be nice. I don't know, but I was like, there is nothing in there right now. So Iron Banner
What are you doing, E? What are you doing to keep things spicy with this relationship you have, this toxic relationship you have with this woman called Destiny? What are you doing? Because we know what Cog is doing. Cog is seeing other women. That's how he keeps it spicy, right?
I mean, you can see I'm seeing other women apparently as well.
You're seeing other women too. Is that your strat? Like, what are you doing to like keep things alive with the Destiny situation?
Yeah,
like when you log on, what are you doing these days? We know you're logging on. We see the Zer videos.
Yeah, see the videos. Grandmasters.
Their weekly videos actually did. Yeah, because it was Devil's Lair this week for the Grandmaster, and I was like, that can't be that bad. And I'm like plus 20 because I've been just playing enough random stuff. I mean, when Trials is there, I'll play a little bit over the weekend, which has been a thing. I still played this past week, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Devil's Lair. I was just kind of going in. It took a little bit to get to lunch, and I was like, you guys want to do a Grandmaster? And got New Red, and he had one other person, and put a couple attempts in, had to adjust the inventories, and then sure enough, we got through the Grandmaster. Granted, it was like 56 minutes. So it was like, it was the easiest Grandmaster you can probably do, because all you got to do is sit in the right spot for any of the fights. Just sit back and like pace yourself. Because I mean, every piece of the Grandmaster is going to give you room to fight from.
Right.
You're not stuck in a really crappy situation. You're not stuck in like Proving Grounds Arena where you have no room to fight and you've got to live in bubbles or something. Yeah. You can sit at range and shoot stuff because it's a D1 strike, and it was before they started making everything circular arenas where you run around with a chicken with your head cut off. So Devil's Lair in and of itself is actually not even bad at all for doing Grandmaster. Went through and did that one, got a couple pieces, and then a little bit of Iron Banner just to kind of test out the armor.
How's the glow? How's the glow looking?
The fire looks pretty good. You find the right shader. Yeah, like every chest piece, and then apparently like little accents on a couple others for Titan and Hunter and Warlock. There are little accents on a couple of them, but what's up? The chest is the big one.
I was about to say, is it one particular set? Like
it's the current Iron Banner set.
Oh, it's the current one. So you got to grind for the. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the current Iron Banner set, which I couldn't tell you the name of off the top of my head, but is the current set the chest?
It's Iron Runner,
maybe
Iron Forerunner.
Forerunner.
Like
yep, that's it. Iron Forerunner. Yeah. For at least for us, I don't know if it's different names for you guys, but
yeah. So it's called for the Titans.
Yeah. Let me see.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, they said so. Apparently, I keep seeing differing ideas on this one. I think when Iron Banner is active, the fire on your chest will be active, but when it's not active, it won't be. But the other thing about the Iron Banner, it does have that set bonus. So if you wear multiple pieces, you get a chance at prisms at the end of matches. And then you can also equip your ghosts, where on precision kills, you have a chance to get prisms as well. So if you grind out a decent amount of Iron Banner, like it's not going to happen every time. Some people in my comments have said not much has happened for them. I literally played like 3 matches. One, I got a precision kill, saw a prism. Next one, I saw a prism drop just at the end. So if you're looking for prisms and you can, if you've grinded out the set, like if you've got that set or you're missing a couple pieces, start throwing them on there and working on that. And don't forget about the ghost. Especially if you're using things like hand cannons, pulse rifles, snipers, anything that's going to get that precision kill more frequently. No reason not to. It's just kind of a way to get a little extra. Because I know it's like sometimes people don't have the best way to get currencies, correct? Yeah, some people are swimming in them, but for some people, that might be the easiest way to get them. That's why I made a video about it. So
No doubt.
But I mean, like this week when you log in, I'm kind of going... that's what, but that's also where we're at right now. So it's your time to work on seals, catalysts, solo. I mean, it's kind of one of those points to where it is that weird moment. It's like, is there anything you're trying to work on? Are you trying to solo a dungeon? Are you trying to, find all the little things? It is that weird triumph hunting situation right now, probably more than anything, or working on just stuff that you haven't typically had time for and might be pulled other directions.
Question: when do we think we get advancement on the narrative? When do we think that might happen?
My guess is either the week before the 30th anniversary, so like into this month, which is probably 30th, I guess, if we can do calendar things. Yeah, so 30th or February 15th, and I don't know which. I don't know. That's my question. Is like, in theory, what happens in the quote epilogue of Season of the Lost, if they're going to still call it that type of thing, is going to be something that ties into Witch Queen. It doesn't tie into the 30th anniversary. I think that's kind of a, here's your Cosmodrome Pirate Dungeon Galahorn quest, here's a little fill-in content. That doesn't seem to probably have any story stuff per se. So then if we get to that point, yeah, because you're going to have the Dawning, you're going to have, what's the end of the year thingy? Solstice of Heroes, is that the right? No, that's the summer event.
That's summer. Isn't Dawning like the New Year kind of thing?
Dawning's like the Christmas coverage when they're out of the office. Like they take their vacation and have fun with that.
That's like the only what I do.
Snowballs and stuff like that. But yeah, like
I like it.
So they'll run that for a few weeks, but there's going to be something. Moments of Triumph. That's the one I was looking for. Thank you. Moments of Triumph is going to be probably what comes towards right after that, I would imagine. So it's either going to be between those two, or Moments is going to run in the last 2 weeks. So if it doesn't happen in, well, basically on the 30th, my guess is it's going to happen 2 weeks before Witch Queen launches to get people back into the story.
Yo, Al said he's a fool. He said they'll move the story if the community can make 20 million.
Oh my God.
Yo, Al said you a fool for that one. And you know what's sad? This might be some truth.
I mean, it's not the first time. Outsanity, you're not supposed to say things on the podcast because apparently they can listen. So, shh.
Yo, that was hilarious.
But that's where we're at. We've got festivals done. 30th is coming. 30th will get its like Galahorn quest dungeon solos. Don't know if there's a difficulty. Who knows? As soon as they, take their holiday break, that's when they'll kick off the Dawning, let it run for 4 weeks. That'll take us into January. Then the Moments of Triumph will probably run straight up to the end of the year. And my guess, if they do it right, is you finish the story before you go into Witch Queen.
Yeah.
So it would be weird to me to finish the epilogue and then wait 3 months to go into Witch Queen.
Yeah.
To me. Now, granted, would it be, I would have rather had it like weeks ago at the like week 8 when the season was actually done. And then you can wait for the expansion, but at least you know what got you there, as opposed to chapter 7 of 8 and pause. So no, that's my guess, is a week or two before Witch Queen, and sadly nothing until then.
Chucha, how are you handling this whole relationship right now? Obviously, you've been reviewing a lot of games.
I mean, so like I'm always seeing other women. Like I would say, I probably like that's sort of like my
women are not coming
state,
off well on our
like,
podcast. I would just like to say right now to the ladies out there, we are playing other games. We do not see you women as objects right now.
On us, quick. He's like, we here at the last.
We here at the Last Word support all females and males and equality and everything else that I have not said already. We are supportive of every color and every flag and every ribbon.
Absolutely. Thank you for covering us.
Please stop slut shaming me. I'm just out here. I'm trying to like I guess my default is like Destiny is I have like staples that I always will come back to, and I'm always sort of like playing while I play other games. And then on top of that, I've got the reviews and I've got games that I'm just like getting through for my own sort of just because I like to play lots of different games. So that's sort of not unusual for me. What I've actually been doing in Destiny is really weird for me, which is I'm finally catching up on the stuff that I don't want to do in Destiny. So like I told you guys last week, I did strikes and I did Gambit and I got those ornaments from previous seasons. I'm also clearing out my quest log, and I realized last weekend I still don't have the new exotics that are in the Master Lost sectors. I totally forgot to do that this season. So I've been looking for when the arms are available. I almost texted you to be like, can you just let me know when the arms are available? Yeah. Because I kept logging on, and every day I happened to log on, the arms were just never the one that was dropping. I've had really bad luck lately, but I still don't have.
There's a calendar I can send you so you can plan it a a little better.
You have a calendar. Wow, this guy's way ahead of me.
I'm not going to claim it. I was like, I thought about doing it, and then Fallout had one made, so it's just a spreadsheet that it's like, I don't know if he totally updates it or it's like kind of community done, but yeah, I know there's a link to a spreadsheet where you can literally see like what is on what day, so it's easy to do.
Nice. Okay, well, I like that. But sort of, as you guys know, my philosophy on Destiny is I never want to hate the game, and so I try not to do things that I know are going to make me hate it. Like I really don't like to
grind
a ton of stuff. And, Lost Sectors is a great way to make you hate the game. Doing the Halloween event, like I only did the Halloween event because there was nothing else in the game to do, and I was sort of like, whatever, I can take a couple hours and just like do that. But like I sort of saved my I didn't do all my grinding just front loaded like a lot of people do, where they Teddy where he tries to do everything in the season right away. So now I've got things to do. I can log on a couple hours a week, and a couple times a week just for a few hours, and get through everything. That way, when we get to the 20th anniversary and when we get to Witch Queen, I'm not going to hate myself or hate Destiny, because that's the one thing that I've been bad at that in the past. Like I remember when Forsaken came out, I think I had played way too much Destiny because I was already sick of Destiny when Forsaken came out, I still loved Forsaken, but in the back of my head, I was like, dude, I've been playing too much Destiny. I need to get off of this game like really bad. So my goal is to never do that again, because I like my relationship with Destiny when I'm like legitimately enjoying it and I log on and I'm like, oh, there's stuff to do. I'm not just like spinning my wheels. And so unfortunately, as you guys know, the comp situation has always been my fallback, and it's in a pretty bad place right now. Like there's not a lot to do.
There's no point to do that playlist at all.
Yeah, there really is no point to do the competitive playlist, and Trials is, I've gotten everything I need, and now it's also not really a competitive mode. So I haven't really played a lot more of that. So yeah, I'm sort of catching up on other stuff. That's how I'm keeping it fresh in the Guardian bedroom.
Have you played Gambit yet?
I have played Gambit, and it is awful. It is still really bad.
The only one that
No, see, here's the thing: is I should like Gambit. It's like PvE, PvP. I say I'm a PvP main, but that's just because I actually like PvP as much as I like PvE. And if you play Destiny and you like PvP equally to PvE, they call you a PvP main, right? Like because so many people don't like PvP at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how I got labeled the PvP main. But I should like Gambit. My problem is that they've just let the mode stagnate way too much. It really sucks to play it in match-made teams just because there's so many people are trying to complete optional objectives, and nobody knows how to dunk the moats, and nobody's communicating. the invasion. Everybody's like standing in front of the heavy ammo for a full minute waiting for it to drop so they can complete a bounty, or they're standing in front of the invasion gate not helping at all because they want to be the person to invade. And it's just like it's like weirdly political in there. I hop into a Gambit match and I feel like I've stepped into like a town hall. There's like these people showing up and complaining about potholes in the road, and I'm just like, dude, what is this? Like, this is such an insane mode. I don't.
You're like, I just want to shoot.
like
I
their
just
own
want to
thing.
shoot stuff and blow up a boss and maybe kill an invader. And
Yeah, or I just want to win the game. Like, it's so weird that in Gambit, the least important part is who wins. Nobody cares.
nobody
Like, it's
cares.
crazy.
Nobody
Then cares about who wins. In
I would
Gambit.
say that.
It's
They're like, are you checking?
really
Did
weird.
you do one of each type of blocker for the bounty? Did you kill these
Yeah.
guys? Like, you're like, I
I
must
feel like
have my
everybody's got
15,
an ulterior motive. It's,
Yeah.
it's
No,
like
he's
Game
right.
of Thrones
He's
in there.
Absolutely
It's-
right.
yeah.
No, that's
I'm
what.
guilty of it too. I go in there like, all right, I
Yeah.
gotta get SMG kills. Then I gotta. I'm not even paying attention.
No.
Like the winning
Yeah.
the match is secondary. I'm literally
You know what
in
it
there
is,
to get
Cog?
objectives done. Yeah.
Hopping into a match-made game of Gambit is like watching Game of Thrones. Oops, all Littlefinger. That's what it's like. It's like everyone is just trying to get some other ulterior motive accomplished. Nobody cares.
But that's like, I mean, I am 100% the same way, because I'll go load up some bounties. I'm like, just if I'm gonna go in there, I'll grab some bounties. But I'm like, I was working on Triumph, so I have to go into Gambit and use like fusion rifles and swords. So I'm gonna be running sword scavenger. Fusion rifle's not horrible right now because at least particle deconstruction, you can nuke some people. But I mean, I'm going to be running a sword, so I'm just going to try and run in. And you know, you're like, oh, I need the bounty, so I need to get super kills for one of my stasis things that I haven't still unlocked because I never felt like going down that rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go in there with like super. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting in the middle. Where's the next place? Okay, new enemies over here, fresh enemies that I can go for by myself so I can get the most kills.
Facts.
yeah,
I'm
dude,
like,
it's
it is
so bad.
So true.
Yeah, strikes are like sometimes you're like fighting people for objectives, but nobody gives a damn about Gambit objective at this point. All you want to do is just like, what do I have to work on? I
You
don't
want to
care.
get out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, I want to do my objectives, and
it's
that
like
does not include
purgatory.
winning the game. Yeah.
It's
It's like
always like
purgatory. Everybody's just trying to move on to the next like place. No, we're all just here because we're not where we want to be right now. That's all it is.
I think what annoys the only thing that annoys me is sometimes the bounties are done in such a way that you can't complete them within the 3 match requirements for the Pinnacle.
You're like, oh, I got to do another one now. Yeah.
I gotta
You're
go
like,
back.
oh,
And
this is a useless match. I don't even get a Pinnacle for this. What the hell, man? Yeah.
it's like, remember to put your ghost on. That gives you some type of Gambit bonus or something like that. I always got to remember to do stuff. That's my only thing that I'm like, all right, that part is annoying.
Yeah,
And
Gambit.
then you remember
Gambit's
how
in a special
excited you used
place.
to get when you saw the meatball? I used to get so excited, like, oh, the stakes are so much higher now. And now I see the meatball and I'm like, great, this is going to take longer. I'm going to be stuck in this match for longer than I want to be. Like, it's so
There's
annoying
like
now.
600, and I'm sorry, but like if one person has like 100 motes and my team has 15 because we got screwed over 4 times, they should not be able to still invade. I'm like,
they just
and then,
compound.
yeah, it's like, and then somehow they've got an invasion stocked up, and then they have their guy out. We have 15 motes, and then they're invading. I'm like, how is this not changed? Like, that's one of those that bugs me, just because I'm like, as at a fundamental level, when that thing comes out, wipe all invasions until we get to that level. If you want to give us a shot, which we don't have one anyway at that point, there's no like, hey, if they've spawned it and your motes now count for 2. That doesn't even exist. It doesn't. There's no catch-up mechanic to even try and let you come back and have at least a little bit of fun. If you're that low, you may as well just, because everybody nukes the boss as well. Now, with linear fusions and other things, you just
that
line it all up.
That boss getting worked.
Dude, the bosses are
Yeah.
dead so fast. If you're not even
So
in the
fast.
mix, you may as well just like sit down and emote somewhere because it's going to end real fast anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, I just wish there was some motivation for winning in Gambit and rework. Like they've sort
Yeah,
of let the
1K
mode
voices,
rot on
yep.
the vine. You know, like if there was just some way to like incentivize people actually playing well and
Yeah.
working as a team
Well,
and
it's like
winning
they-
matches.
they-
I think it would go a long way to making that mode better. But because no one's there to win, it's sort of just like you're just waiting for the hell to end and trying to get your personal weird side objectives done while you're there. It's so weird, man. It's such not a good mode right now.
Was you
Yeah,
about to
it
say,
is
D?
weird. No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it is weird. They haven't touched it in so long, and it's to a point where I do ask the questions like, why is it still there? They want it to be a core play. I mean, I know they
Yeah.
want it to be a core. They put a lot of development time into building it. Even who's the guy
And
we
it's a
talked
good
to?
idea.
Yeah, who's the guy we talked to at
Bro, I was
GCX? I'm
there.
trying to remember. Adam, Pino.
Adam.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked
Oh,
to him, and
Pino.
he's
Pino.
like,
Yeah, we
which
talked to
one did
Pino.
you guys like? They've
Prime versus
narrowed,
regular.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Gotta
in
get the structure with
turn,
him.
all we've ever had is like we know PvP is getting some maps, not a lot of refreshes, but not much coming that direction. But it's like we lost 2 of the 6 Gambit maps, and the mode is like you don't see anything. And it's like, do they have some? I want to know if they have a plan for it at all. I don't even know how low on the totem pole of priorities it is, but it is not high. It seems.
Yeah, it's definitely not. The way I internalize it is it's a bulletin board right now. It is clearly moved to the bottom. And for us, even though we get annoyed that we're doing trials for like 6 topics in a row, it feels like every last one we do a trials topic. But clearly, their goal was, all right, dead season, most of the resources are going to be on the PvE side towards Witch Queen. However, this current season, we're going to tweak and we're going to do this with trials and we're going to mess. We're going to turn that knob here. We're going to twist that knob there. And then this, there. And we're going to look at the analytics. And then they were like, but what about Gambit? Oh yeah. We'll get to you.
Yeah, there's a cork board and somebody put a push pin on the very bottom corner. It's just like dangling off the bottom, like it barely exists.
Gambit is where PvP used to be for the last 3 days. That's where Gambit's at. And to be honestly, I don't have no sympathy for them right now. Like they was the hot new mode. I was at E3 with, shout out to your boy Dustin and Sean Finnegan when I did believe it debuted. I was able to play a debut match at E3. We played it for the first time together. Salute, that was so much fun. I remember when the mode came out and it was crazy potential, crazy fun. But like, yeah, they just clearly right now, once they took maps away, and I'm like, okay, I didn't understand that. I don't understand what we were doing with there, but it's just right now, just there's no incentive, like Travis is saying, like there's no incentive to win. Then they scaled it back even further. They got rid of Prime, which was, there's the whole suits. Remember, everybody had the suit, and I'm the rusher, and I'm the moat stacker.
Well, yeah, go into Reckoning, earn some armor that you use in Gambit Prime, but the armor itself that you earn in Reckoning does not make you better in Reckoning. That alone was a problem with that. Just the loop was so non-supportive to itself. Like, I'm going to earn armor here that benefits me here. And what have they done recently for Gambit? They put a couple weapons in there that have 600 perks on them. So if you want to try and go after a good bottom dollar roll, you get one and you're like, oh, you do the math on a good bottom dollar, you're not going to see that one in 60,000 rolls. Cool. Like the odds, there's so many. It's like, time lost weapons have like 4 perks and 4, or like, they're pretty ironed down. And then try the Gambit weapons, like bottom, just 3rd and 4th column is like every option possible. Oh yeah. So you'll never get the good one.
Purposely done. That's purposely done. That's to keep you in the mode to try to grow. I will say historically, Gambit weapons tend to be good. Like that servant leader is really
that's the problem.
They should just make it so that you can only get the good weapon if you win the match. Just lock it behind a win. Then people would actually play to win.
Yeah, then you actually might have people jumping in there with teams. You might actually see some stuff. You would see people if you could guarantee a weapon, or if you had a bounty that you could grind out towards that weapon. Like even on Europa, you've got, what is his name? Our poorly talking gentleman of Prison of the Air. Varix, yeah. You can go do one of the Empire hunts and at least go after the bow. If you want that bow, which actually Biting Winds is a pretty good one. If you want that bow, you can go after that bow. There may be a lot of rolls, but there's no way to specifically like, hey, I want to go after bottom dollar. I want to go after servant leader. And there's still enough rolls on those weapons that would not harm anything to get bounties directly onto some of those weapons, whether it's like, a little quest, like win a match, like get an invasion kill, which people would probably hate. So don't always put that in there. Sorry. Don't ever say that. But it'd be like, kill a major, kill, like whatever it is, like you could do a couple of steps to go after a roll. Doesn't have to be dramatic, but do some way to go after that type of stuff, I think.
I agree. I do miss Gambit Pinnacles though. Gambit Pinnacles was fire. I remember 21 Delirium. What was it? Breakneck.
Except for that had the same problem of people just doing the bounty quest
Yeah,
steps. Like
it was Game of Thrones.
everybody just had machine guns, and they were fighting over the heavy ammo to get machine gun kills, and it's just like, dude, this is so annoying. They just need to. This is like a big problem with Destiny in general. Like every mode kind of has this problem. You know, you hop into Crucible at the beginning of the season, and everybody's using the same linear fusion rifle because they're trying to grind out the catalyst or the quest or whatever. And it's sort of just it's sort of a problem in Destiny in general that I think they've never really addressed, which is like people aren't there to do the thing that they're supposed to be doing. The only mode that's safe from it is raids. Like people actually play raids to win, but every other game mode, they're there to like do something else. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But Gambit's by far the worst. Gambit's by far.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst offender. It's definitely the worst offender.
But yeah, it's like that's one of those where if they would ever do just like kill guardians or combatants with this thing, and it's like go in here with the linear fusion rifles. You got 50 in Crucible because they want to put people in that playlist, and go kill one Gambit boss, and then go 2 strikes and kill like 500 people there. It's like they want to populate the bosses, but it's so frustrating to do that because then you force them in. If somebody wants to go grind it out in strikes, let them do that. And then when they come into Crucible, they turn around and somebody who may be average at Crucible, like this guy, tries to get linear fusion rifle kills, which those are somewhat aim assist a little easier. Like you can kind of make some of those happen, but like you needed sniper kills for one of the pursuit weapons. Why can't I remember the one that the ammo forgiveness one that everybody was so up in arms about?
Revoker? Was it?
Yeah, Revoker. Like you had to go get sniper kills. Like some people just be like, I suck at sniping. I'm never gonna get that weapon. Now there's incentive to go kind of try and learn, but sniping's a hard one. But then you force people into those situations, and then some maps aren't even built for that. You go get on like Anomaly, and you're like, well, I'm not sniping here. This is just a wasted match of what I'm trying to work on right now. Yeah. I know we're ragging on a lot of stuff, guys, right now. It happens sometimes, but
that time of year, you know how it goes. It's just a cyclical thing.
We
know what type of relationship we're in. We know this. This is not new. You know, and like I said, for me, I take the Travis approach, which is like, I'm never going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to get myself all angry and worked up because it is game, and I know what it does, right? I know what it does.
I've seen you do it though, Cog. We all fall prey.
I've done it. You know I've done it. I mean, clearly, I'm very guilty of doing it. So what my new approach is just like, look, you know, E taught me. We used to fight. There was when we went Flashpoint about this type of stuff, and he's like, Cog, go play some other game. I'm like, no, I want to live in this world. I used to be the guy. I was the guy. He's like, Cog, play something else so you don't hate it. And that's what I do. And I'm like, I'm getting things done. And then when I come back, and then sometimes I do what Travis does, which is like, won't burn through every objective to the T. For I'm not doing the T.
You're not going to be a streamer and be like, I played everything too fast. Now I have nothing to play. Nothing to play.
Nothing to do, and then you mad. And I'm like, no, I still got little check marks. Shout out to GJ, he's in there. Shout out to back for what you call that's in there. You know, they run him every once in a while. They're like, yo, you want to run a last wish? See if you get yourself a 1K. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. Shout out, somebody's doing firecrackers. I don't know what the hell's going on in my mouth. Sorry,
I hear that. That's
bizarre.
I don't know.
November 4th, we got firecrackers going on. Is there a holiday I don't know about?
I have no idea.
Actually, there is. It's Diwali.
Oh, is that what? I've seen that popping up in a couple places.
Yeah, I'm like, something going on. I'm like, what is happening in my area? But yeah, so it's like, I'm not gonna get myself worked up. But I think for me, it's like, okay, what I usually do is I set milestones. Okay, so in November, did everything I need to do. I got my trials going, and then from now, banner is nothing in there I need. Grandmasters, anything I really need. I got a good plug one already. Cool. And now it's like, all right, I am gearing up for that 30th anniversary. So end of the month, that's when I start to ease my way back in. All right, what's going on? And I am a firm believer that Bungie RNG is literally, the algorithm is designed that when I come back, I'm going to get God rolls and a whole bunch of things. Because I feel, me and Teddy have had this conversation, that when you are away, they incentivize you to get better, like God roll stuff to keep you to come back when you return. So that's what it. Just check in, see what's going on. E tells me it's safe. All right, it's safe. All right, I'll dip my toe in there, see what's going on.
Like, the water feels okay today.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll dip my foot in there, see what's going on in the pool. Got other stuff going on. It's all good.
Well,
yeah.
This last weekend, I will say the Twitter world was on fire, pretty much, due to trials. This one thing that has been going on. Shout out to Haverall, which I'm probably saying wrong. I apologize. He said kids play with firecrackers on Diwali. So you nailed it. Travis was right on it.
Yeah. Oh, God, they go.
But
Represent.
Trials win-based matchmaking. We had the speculation this may not go that well, and then there were some thoughts on Twitter before it ever happened. The more wins you get, the farther the matchmaking got, more questionable it would be, and they're like lack of incentive to play and all of those things. Man, did Trials just absolutely light it up this weekend with just thumbs downs everywhere in every different way you could probably say that with regards to the matchmaking on this one. Now, I played this weekend as a solo player. I got to my 7 wins.
Nice.
Probably hit or miss, wasn't too crazy. But I didn't
You've been
play.
to the lighthouse now, right? Like
Nope,
we did that.
Still no.
Bro,
Oh, wow.
get on with us.
Wow.
At some point, I will have to. Yes, I had family in town for like a couple weekends, and yeah, it's been weird. But the big thing was the more wins you got over the course of the weekend, accumulation, whether it was on 20 different cards or 1 card, you would be starting to match with people with 5 wins. You're matching people with 5 wins. You played 7 cards and you've got 25 wins so far. Well, you're matching people with 25 wins no matter how they got there. And then you had people who probably just ran all weekend, winning a bunch of matches. And you've got Bungie saying, well, the people who played lots of matches, but if you are on the bleeding edge of win counts, your matchmaking times could easily be over or anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. They said the average match count was up 10 seconds. And we even talked about that last time, saying, wait a little longer for decent matchmaking times. You know what? I'm totally fine with it. 10 seconds, don't care. Like, not a big deal to most of us. If you're saying 5 minutes to start a match, you may as well start a match, go in the other room, make yourself a snack, stop by the restroom, come back. Then you might have actually found something. Shout out to Siva Tech, member for 3 months. Thank you. Make Trials great again. Had to thank you for that, by the way, Siva. Appreciate that.
Hello, Siva.
They said overall games played was down about a third. They said average to low skilled players, they had about the same play time, but higher skilled players were literally about a third less play time, about 2.5 hours less, a lot less matches played. And that's basically what it led to, is anybody who was going to play more and more had less and less incentive to do so, because if you're grinding out wins, and that was the problem with people trying to go flawless. For example, Travis, like the issue with that would be people would try to go flawless. Well, they get to 5 wins and they lose. Okay, well, you got to reset the card, go back. Well, now you're starting in the 5-win matchmaking. Well, you win about 5 more. Well, then you lose again at 5. Then you start over. Now you're in the 10-win matchmaking. You do it again, and it just like increments on. So now your first game is at like 27 wins, and you're trying to get through a card to get to flawless, and you're already in like top tier matchmaking pool. That's where the issue lies for people who are playing more and more. So there was less incentive. Like if you didn't get on your first card, you may as well have given up. And even more incentive not to play until the last day than I think we've had before. So for me, while I got to my 7 wins and I stopped because I got, Pinnacle, got some engrams, reset. It's my second reset, by the way, in Trials Rep. Twice I've done that now. I've gone to 10,000 with that man twice. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? It's just fun to practice because I tend to need to work on it a lot. So it's a way to do that. So as a solo player, for me, this season overall, actually just allowing me to jump in whether I get shellacked or not. Like, there's still some games I get to like practice and learn on, work on my skills, kind of getting better at dodging and awareness and radar and those types of things. But in general, this weekend was not liked by a lot of people. And you got to the point where if you didn't do it early, you were kind of done.
Yeah.
So Bungie at least listened to all of, like, they're like, here, let me read this.
What did they?
While there are, they kind of listened. Because I know what everybody actually wants, and we still can't seem to get that. While there are some positives, most of the data is either negative or neutral, combined with the feedback on social media channels. Please,
let's go.
How do you define that feedback? Trash fire?
I love that.
Like, I don't know.
That.
This
combined.
This has fueled our decision to move back to purely card-based matchmaking with a flawless pool for the foreseeable future. Now, my one question to that, everyone on social media, which they look at, per the sentence right there, and this is where you're going, wants week 1. That is literally all they want to do, is to try week 1 again, and we can't seem to get that. Now, I wanted to ask both of you if you have an idea why.
Oh, I do. It's so fun. And I talked to you and Travel talked about this in the DM. And it's so funny. Like the community will scream from the rooftops. This is what needs to happen, right? For weeks, make it like this. Do it like this, right? And every week we hear about the data. And I think it's just funny to me that finally the data has shown that it is either negative or neutral as far as the engagement. They talk about the games down and the blow up rate went up or whatever. And it's just so funny because to me, this is analysis by paralysis. And I think they just get into that data bag where they have to have the data say that it's clearly that. And look, I get it. You know, there's the whole vocal minority and the majority, and I know they're trying to service, you know,
a whole lot of casual people, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. I get it. I get it. But it's like, you know, to me, it's also when the community has that much vitriol collectively, right? You know, I feel that there should be some concessions sometimes where we don't have to wait 3 to 4 weeks. We don't have to wait 3 to 4 months to say, hey, you know what? Let's at least tweak in this direction. And I think that's what it is. It just, man, it's so funny because everybody said week 1 was the most fun they had, you know, kind of thing. And is it perfect? No. But to me, this is a clear-cut example that the data again moves them. That is the end all be all. And no matter how much you scream, right? We're listening, but to the data, and the data said it this time. So now it's like, all right, you know what? Card, y'all. We're going to do what we got to do. That's just my thought on it.
Travis, where are you at on this one? Since I know you got an opinion, I don't know if you haven't been in it that much probably, but where do you think why, or what would you like to see out of all of this? I know, for what you really want to see, we probably won't
kind of
get,
already
but,
talked. Yeah, we've kind of already talked about this ad nauseum. I don't really have a lot of opinions about this. Like, I think we all agreed last week that this theory for matchmaking probably wasn't going to work out, and now we know that it did. It didn't work out, right? Like, they're going to go back to the old way of doing it, which seemed to have more engagement and that sort of stuff. But I think it's very clear that, like, you know, none of these modes really seem to be working for the hardcore, because you're seeing like the amount of matches played like going down quite a bit. But if it's also not working for the casuals, then they're losing on both ends, right? So they should probably pick one or the other, or come up with a different hypothesis if they're trying to serve both. But yeah, I was not surprised at all by this. When they announced the system, I was like, all right, well, this seems like it's going to be a really bad experiment. And then it was, and now they're reversing it. So whatever, you know, you win some, you lose some, but I hope they learned something at least. So
yeah, it's like Neil in chat saying week 1 made the average Joes like me feel like trials. Now, what was week 1? Somebody remind people who may have like missed the memo or whatever was going on. Can one of you guys describe what week 1 was? It didn't have the flawless pool, right? That was one thing I know.
It didn't have the flawless pool. It was literally just you can play alone or with another person, but they didn't change anything else.
So they had the reward system.
They added crossplay. They changed the reward system so that it was more accessible. But everything that is currently in trials now was the same, except for the way that they did matchmaking and the way that they there was no freelance play.
So it was just card based. So there was no flawless pool. Doesn't matter what you did.
Right.
Yep. And I think that I honestly think that I think people are getting it confused. The reason week 1 was so good is because it was new, and there was a higher player base, there was rewards to chase after and all that stuff. So I think it might just be a victim of the fact that it's so late in the season, and I think player numbers are going to be lower regardless of what happens. So.
Like, this is a point where, again, I would wonder, it's like, as Bungie, and it's like, you have the vocal people, you have the people with, like, you know, the Aztecross, who's like 500,000 subs, and he'll make a trials update video literally after any piece of news about it. So like, there are people who are going to touch a lot of people who play this game. So if you get updates to a point, and finally if Bungie's like, all right, all you people screaming from the rafters, you want this? Let's see what it looks like now. Well, just to me, that would either let us see what we think is there, but we know actually isn't, or let it be like, hey, this is an experiment. We didn't think it was going to be there, but honestly, everybody had a good time. Like, if that's the one thing everybody is asking for, just take out the flawless pool and card-based only, go back to week 1. You're doing so many experiments right now. Why not do that? I don't see the reason not to. And again, they may say see data. But again, even Neil in there was just saying, he's like, average Joe's like, if I matched with the 3-stack, probably figured that wasn't going to be great. But if I matched with another, if I did hit up a solo group, I kind of figured, I was like, all right, let me put my try hard hat on. Let me see how I can do. Let's get in the mix a little bit. And I had some matches, the 3-stack select. Now that's where I like the freelance pool. If you take out the flawless pool, but if you just go week 1 with freelance, I am golden to me, because then you have, and honestly, as Travis had said previously, the regular one should be 3 stacks, so you don't have like 2s getting in this weird mix. If you're 2, you probably need to find one more, because that's a weird situation, because your one-off's probably not going to make you better.
One-off, yeah.
Freelances or 3s, but like the flawless pool is weird because you give people incentive not to play for 2 days.
Right.
That's my weird part about this. Like, if I jump in on the early onset of trials on, say, I do my Zer video and I jump on at 1 for whatever reason, I'm going to be up against the people who are trying to knock out cards early, and that's not good. Then you get over to the flawless pool, which again has other people who are better than me, but have waited to let the other people get into the flawless pool, try and do the same thing when I've been shellacked the same way. So now we're going to go no freelance this time, and we're going to have the flawless pool. And my curiosity is going to be to see how many 3-stacks I see come, not this weekend because Iron Banner's going on, but next weekend, like how many 3-stacks I see come Sunday afternoon when they're like, oh, flawless pool just switched over. Now it's my turn to get the easy run, now that I know some of those people are out of there. Like, so you literally have 2 times where you have full 2 days where you shouldn't play, and then you have the beginning of Sunday where you shouldn't play, and then you limit people depending on where they live, regions and time zones and stuff, where you leave them like half a day where they actually probably have a reasonable chance when their flawless pool is doing the filtering that it should.
Yeah. The problem I see is the flawless pool, while in theory I understand what they're trying to do, the problem is they can't avoid the fact that carrying is a big part of the community. It's a huge part. It's a huge part for streamers, and they want to do that. So you're literally saying during these specific days after, what is it, Sunday or whatever it is, you can't carry, right? And that is angering people because that is a huge, part of it. So again, to me, it always comes to the data. It's just sad that it takes this long to get to the conclusion sometimes that the community wants and ultimately feels was the best. And that's what it is. It's still a tweaking. It's still the the over analytical with the number kind of thing. And you just hope that they meet in the middle. That's all I'm saying. Like, meet in the middle. Not everything has to be letter to the law. Wait for the data to show that it's a successful thing or not. And that's just where they are. So we'll see.
I don't know. Sometimes they just got to go by feel a little bit more. And I know they really are against that a lot of the time.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
But I was like, at this point, when you do have this is literally the perfect time. Next week, like, okay, season stuff's over. 30th anniversary, Pop is not back. That would literally be the time, I think, for to try the week 1 stuff, just to give people and be like, now they could at least give us the data on what we think week 1 was so special, to see if it really was. And otherwise, people are going to never know. And I think that's the other thing, is if you don't tell, while they're the vocal minority, it's 1 more week of trials and half the people are playing, half aren't anyway, playlist is going down. Let the experiment happen and go out, so you can at least have that data, and you can also either shove it back in our face and be like, hey, guess what? It sucks. You were wrong. Or you could have people be like, it could use a few tweaks, but we're getting closer with that. Something would be worthwhile, I think, there. And this is like the perfect time, and I think they're going to miss it. That's my worry, is like this would literally be the perfect time for them to do it low population before the pop, to see what it's going to be like in these odd seasons, to see if it does work. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, well, I was like, and that's the thing. It's like, no, it's like, and
I'm losing faith with them on that part. I just am. Like, it's just, I love the tweaking. I do. I don't mind tweak. But again, to me, the issue comes down to what Travis said and what I said, as far as where we met in the middle with our age-long debate, right? Which is, you need the competitive aspect of some type of ranking system to get people more in line with the skills of who they should be facing against, right? Yep. Then you also have to have rewards to make people go in the list. And the thing is, right now, they are not both. So as the rewards have gone, at the start of trials, the population is going to decrease regardless, right? There's always going to be some level of drop off. But when there's not a lot of rewards, and then if people feel like they're getting stomped, getting crushed, you know what I'm saying, or B crushing everybody, like, and they're not feeling any type of challenge because there's the way the matchmaking is set up, it's going to affect it. It's going to affect it. That's it. So what I'm hoping is with both of those things, again, it's a long shot. Don't know if it's going to be Witch Queen. Hoping it's Witch Queen. Don't know that these things are actually in place or being set up to be in place, kind of like how long it took us to get anti-cheat. We all knew anti-cheat. We all knew that was a problem. You know what I'm saying? It just takes them a long time, you know? And I don't know if it's a resource thing. I don't know if it's a priority thing, but I just don't know how long it'll be before we get that. That's the thing I'm at right now. I don't know because let's be honest, Witch Queen in itself is a huge rollout. They're talking raid. You're talking the Savathun story. Theoretically, is the trials aspect truly going to get fixed in that season? I would lean no, right?
Probably,
I would lean that it would still need more time, right? And I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just, you know, that's just how these things work. But I'm curious, Trav, like, what do you think on that level? Like, where are you at with it as far as like the end game goal to maybe get closer to both of the things that both me and you want?
Yeah. I guess I would say they're closer now than they were, right? Like it is baby steps, like you said. And I know I can get like pretty intense when we talk about the stuff because it's sort of, you know, it's my mode, right? Like it's why I log on. And for me, earning weapons in a raid isn't about having a cool weapon. It's about just being able to make somebody cry in Crucible. Like that's why I want those weapons, you know? So yeah, when I got 1,000 voices, when I got Vex Mythic class, it was all for the joy of hurting somebody's feelings in a Crucible playlist. I hate that you got a new mic, Cog, because I can never hear you laugh. Your cackles are always such joy, but your mic filters it out.
It filters it out.
Yeah. So like but honestly, like the fact that they're even paying attention to trials during this downtime is such a like huge gesture. The fact that they clearly care about getting more players in and making it more rewarding and making it more accessible, like all the changes they made to the reward system, the fact that cross plays here, all that stuff is like tremendously good. I just think, like, as we keep saying every week, there needs to be a way to make it actually competitive for, if the goal of trials is to make it a competitive mode and not purely card based, which I'm not even saying that that's a thing. They could make it just card based and put a competitive mode somewhere else. Comp, I think, is long overdue for some sort of makeover in terms of it actually being competitive. But I just think, like, to your point, Cog, people care about rewards. I think that's only partly the reason people play when it comes to Crucible, which we've talked about. But I think that if they made seasonal rewards, like if you get up to the diamond tier at the end of that season, if you have reached that tier at any point during the season, you get those rewards. You reach, used to be. Yeah. You receive the highest rewards of however high you were able to get in the bracket.
Forgotten days. That was a huge. You stayed in that bit. You stayed in it, baby. That's a good correlation, right? How they had it was a competitive aspect to reach that tier, right?
Yeah.
Versus and a good reward with a nice unique perk. That it was a perfect marriage in that respect.
I don't even think that they need to do Not Forgotten. Like if you got a package of rewards for getting to silver, if you're a bronze player and you're getting the bronze rewards because that's all you normally get, you're working to get to that silver. And let's just say silver gives you a couple more Ascendant shards, and it gives you a package of other materials that you might want, and it gives you a skin for the seasonal Crucible PvP weapon or something like that. You would play for that, and then people at the diamond level, if they have their own exclusive skin for that same gun, that's going to be bragging rights that they could walk around with, and or glow on a weapon that they wouldn't normally have. Or I know people would probably be mad at this, especially Paul Tassi, but if like the highest tier give you access to a shader that you couldn't get through other ways, and then you get those rewards at the end of the season. That way, it's not just play this week to get this weapon, play this week to get this armor. It's play all season and aspire to climb the ladder so that you can get that big package at the end. Yeah. That's okay. It's kind of how comp used to be. It's actually it's more like closely to what Rocket League does and what Hearthstone is really good at it. Yep. Also the Witcher Gwent card game has a really good seasonal rank system. Something like that. Like when I see those packages, it gives me warm and fuzzies. It makes me like, ooh, I'm going to play all season and I'm going to like try really hard to get as high as I can in that ladder. Knockout City also is another game that's actually doing pretty well at that system right now. So there's so many games that do it. And I know people say, like somebody said in the comments, jokingly, the rich get richer. It doesn't have to be stuff that's actually useful. If it was just a skin, an ornament, a cosmetic,
see,
like
okay, that's what
I'm with you there.
That's what I want to push.
Take one thing, or how about this? If people are mad about that, they don't want cosmetics locked behind skill, then just give us an item that is also sold on Eververse that you cannot buy with Bright Dust. So you can pay real money, or you can earn it in the game.
Don't do that.
Oh, you push it back.
Why not?
No, because then you get people buying power, and that's something they said they will never do.
No, not power. A cosmetic.
Oh, cosmetic, sure.
I'm saying if they sold a cosmetic and they made it,
then it
either
needs to be a different
buy
variant.
It with real money, or you get it. Yeah, maybe.
That I would say is like,
know.
oh, you could do like, hey, if you want the actual true like angel wing glow, like I mean, those are the ones that always stand out as the ornaments from Trials before. The like wing ornament was like fantastic. Walking around the field, like, dude, be like, okay, and you could be like, yeah. But I was like, okay, and then if you want to buy you could buy like a baby wing version of it from Eververse, like if you want some look, but you got to earn the good one. And I think also when Don't Mask is saying the rich get richer, when I sit there and make guide videos, part of me is saying like, hey, for those of you who don't want to do raids and other things, that's even why I wouldn't use something like Tyrion of Heaven as like a solar bow. But there's also a point where why should you run those top level things? It's like there needs to be something out there. Like, that's like, what did everybody grind their hindquarters off for? When the comp weapons were there, when there was exclusive weapons at the end of that, like it doesn't have to be at the 5,500 legend level or, you know, Diamond 1. That's where you need to have like, that's where you need to have that ornate nameplate looking thing going on to be like, now you see a nameplate with like a diamond sitting up there, be like, okay, that's actually cool. But like maybe a stage below that or somewhere in the middle, then you can start working for, you know, weapon and the weapon with like another perk slot or something like that. But they need to have tiers of that stuff. There needs to be some loot in there. I don't want it just cosmetics, because even for me, the annoyance of cosmetics in say a dungeon pisses me off because half of them end up in Eververse anyway.
Yeah,
but it's
I get that. The reason I was saying maybe I'll also offer it in Eververse is because there's some people who will kind of bristle at the idea of there being anything exclusive behind getting to like diamond tier.
And they just need to get over that. They need to get over that.
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
I'm with y'all because I mean, let me just get sportive, because the thing is, it's unfair that PvP is penalized and not the way PvE is, because
there's
the only way
I
to
don't
get
have.
1K,
You
gotta get 6 people, you gotta do a raid, you gotta do this extremely hard Pinnacle content. So why can't PvP have that equivalent? Why is it taken out of it? Like the people who have that skill level that are like Travis said, like I remember, bro, like Mountaintop, Revoke, I was trying to get that 5,500. I was, trying to stay in that comp playlist because it was the aspiration. You saw that dude, you're like, oh, yo, you got that, that gun or whatever it was. It made you stay in the mode. And it's like, they've really gone away from it. But I think they went away from it for the wrong reason. I think they went away from it because they were concerned about balancing. The problem is they stripped the mode completely and then never put anything of any value back into it. And I think that's where the disconnect is. It's just, again, it doesn't have to be the level. Could you imagine an exotic that was in there? I know that would get people pissed. But look, There's 1K. There's Eyes of Tomorrow. There's literally Vex Mythic class right now is the most busted gun right now in Destiny history.
And the worst thing is there's so much RNG, you don't even know if you can get it.
You don't even control it, right? You can't even control it. So why can't PvP have one that may be tied to your rank system? You know, say like something like
give me like exotic ornaments up there too. Like, I mean, that's the thing. That ranking system needs to be comp needs like. As we're talking about all of these things, comp needs a vast overhaul to matter. Because right now there's no point. I see and they even know glory playlist doesn't matter because it's not even in the Pinnacle reward loot. It's only for powerfuls. You get 7 rounds and you get a powerful, and every other node that you normally can see is Pinnacle. I'm like, you really don't care about that mode because it's not even a Pinnacle grind for you. So you don't care. It's like it's at that level. But yeah, it's like if Trials could have some kind of ranking. That would be fantastic. They seem to be pushing away so that mode gets more people in it, because now you have the issue with, like, if you play a lot like me, I don't have the god rolls, but I definitely have options for every role. I got a decent Igneous, I got a decent Sniper, and you're going to have options that start to say, do I really need to put my time into this? And the problem is, if they do an annual refresh of loot to Trials, that's not frequent enough. That's the other issue behind Trials is, now if you're saying... Seasonal. Yeah, now you're saying if it's like a little more casualized, easier loot to get by time that you spend in the playlist and those types of things, if you're going to put it at that level, then that loot needs to be much more frequently updated. And that is one thing I know they're trying to build up the teams for. They've said they're like trying to build up the team so we can have more options coming out and more weapons that come. And they do have a decent amount of weapons now in these seasons that come out. You've got decent amount of like refreshes, which they're kind of leaning on at some point. That'll kind of run out of gas, but at some point, yeah, that needs to get some love, and there needs to be a seasonal refresh for that. Otherwise, it's like, you know, you get into Witch Queen, and if there's not a new set for Witch Queen, well, I just got it all last season. That just take one of my pillars out.
Yeah, like, that's also the problem with Not Forgotten is it was the only reward for so many seasons. It was. To be fair though, it did take multiple seasons to earn that. I kind of like that kind of aspirational nature to it, but I kind of think they can do both, right? Like they can make it accessible and make it so that everybody's playing at their level and gets some reward for aspiring to get to that next tier above them, and give items that aren't game breaking. Like I don't even think there should be exclusive weapons. I think it should all be cosmetic, but they should be badass cosmetics that people really want, like to get to that. They want to go from silver to gold because they know that the gold ornament set is incredibly like cool and iconic, or you know, they, like you said, like they get the little diamond symbol next to their name if they get to diamond tier. I think everybody should have a seasonal ranking for competitive playlists, and heck, do it for other ones. Give them a seasonal ranking for raids and or PvE stuff. Give them a seasonal ranking for Gambit if people are into that. I just think that there needs to be some sort of reason to like continue in this loop and unique rewards for all of that. And we know that they can make unique cosmetic rewards because there's so much in Eververse, dude. Hire like one more guy that just makes Eververse items, but they're not available in Eververse. Instead, they go into a separate pool for rewards. Like we know they can do that.
I definitely could do it. They definitely do it. And the reason why I push back with the people is like, oh, you know, this new rat is getting the killers. He's like, we gatekeeping casuals now. And I was like, look, the reason why
it's not gatekeeping if it's a cosmetic item. That's ridiculous.
No, but I want to push back on the weapon part because here's my thing. The reason why
they should have weapons.
Yes.
Yeah. You know why I'm gonna push back? Because what happens when the new season starts? We log in and we're literally given with a horde. You're given the linear just for paying $10. You are given what's the linear?
I still hate that Lawrence driver. Yeah, Lawrence. Sorry,
giving it. Here you go. Knock yourself out. New thing for the season. Exotic.
I want that to stop so hard. It's not even funny. I gotta go. Seriously, that bugs the hell out of me. You want to talk about devaluing an exotic? As you literally said, you log in on day one, here it is. Yeah, you got to grind for a catalyst, but I'm like, here's your new exotic for the season. I'm like, where's the value in that? It's a unique weapon. Sure, they are typically very cool, like Ticuu's Divination. Loved it. Yeah. Lawrence Driver, very cool weapon. Definitely has some functionality to it, and, you know, Void sucking up people and blowing them up. Like, they did some cool stuff with these. Why did you give it to me? Not even a quest involved. Just day one. Blah.
$10. $10. Like your skill was $10. You aspired with your $10 to get.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah, and you get a copy at rank 35 because that's the free way to get it. Don't mask. Say you can get it for free at rank 35, which isn't even that hard to get. You'll get that anyways. So it's like it's either time or money, which either one. But there's no accomplishment to it. There's no story to it. There's no. Are you kidding me? When I sent you guys both the article about the Lawrence driver, like the science behind the weapon. You remember me sending you that article? Are you telling me there's no way you can't get a quest in there that somehow explains what's going? Something like anything behind what this thing does, like Ticuu's divination. I want to know I want to do a quest to get that one. Solar bow that like locks on, and you got exploding multiple targets. Now I'm like, dude, this is a whole freaking amazing.
Gotta sell those season passes, Z. Gotta sell those season passes. Yeah,
and if you tell me who's gonna die in Witch Queen before the damn thing launches too, I'm just gonna be pissed again. Okay, I do actually like. I feel like when it comes to so would you guys want to know, right now? Would you want to know that Cortana's in Halo Infinite right now before it launches?
Ooh,
that's a completely different question.
Playing dirty.
Oh no, it's not.
Because here,
Cade 6 has been killed. Sorry for spoilers. How is that different?
Here's the distinction. Cade dying is the premise of Forsaken. It's the jumping off point. It's not the big reveal at the end. So the Halo Infinite.
I'm gonna guess that Cortana coming back's not gonna be the end of the game either. I feel like that's.
I bet you it's not the premise though. The parallel between Halo Infinite, if you want to compare apples to apples, would be knowing that it starts with Master Chief losing a war and humanity being in a super dark place, which we do know. That's the premise of Halo Infinite, just like Cade dying is the premise of Forsaken. So it's different. Learning the premise of an expansion, the first thing you learn when you boot it up, is very different. It would be like if in Forsaken, the trailer showed you going to the Dreaming City. If it showed you going to the Dreaming City in the Forsaken trailer, then I would be like, all right, that's messed up. But it's literally the premise. And I feel the same way about Witch Queen. The premise is the first thing we're going to see, we all know, is going to be the trailer of, the Hive becoming Guardians and all that. But that's the premise. It's literally like it's the very first thing you see.
But that's the difference. That's the difference of like premise. But if it was like, what if the part of the premise is that Ikora and Vanguard are somehow put in prison, or one of them is killed, and we know that beforehand because that's what kicks off what, like, Savathun busts out, and like I don't want to know that stuff beforehand.
But here's the thing, E. If you boot up the game in February and the first thing you learn is that stuff, the whole prison stuff, whatever you just did, the fanfic you just wrote for the audience.
Yeah, I don't know.
If that's the first thing you see, why do you care about seeing that in February versus right now? Because it's going to be the first thing you see anyway, right? So it's just like they're giving you a preview of the game.
He hates that.
If it's literally the first thing you see.
He wants the mystery. I don't have.
Yeah, but the mystery is after the establishment of the game. Like if it's part of literally the jumping off point. I actually agree with E most of the time. I just think that Destiny actually does a pretty good job at it in that they tend to not show you anything past like the first 20 minutes of the thing. It's like if it like movie trailers are the worst. You guys, movie trailers will show you the spoiler at the 75% mark of the movie.
One of my buddies actually stopped watching basically every trailer on account of that. Which that is
the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I don't blame the
industry.
I will say, like, what was it? Force Awakens was one of the best trailers I've seen in a while because I didn't know much.
So good. You have no idea. Actually, Star Wars, not only, I don't want to get off on a Star Wars tangent because you guys know how easy that is.
Keep it small. Keep it short.
But I will keep it small. Star Wars actually goes a step further and records separate sequences that they have no intention of putting in the movie, just to throw the audience off. It's beautiful.
You know, the only annoying thing about that, though, is because most movies, you're looking for that one point to happen the whole time. And you get to the end, you're like, where was that? Like, where was that one thing I saw?
Exactly. So don't watch the trailers. Annoying. It's perfect. I love it. I love it. I think every movie should do that. And I think video games haven't gotten to that point yet where they're like starting to spoil what's in the game. The trailers are way better, and I think it's because they have an advantage. They can show gameplay. They don't have to focus on the story, right? They can just show you shooting things out of context, whereas movies they kind of have to put story in there because that's all they have, right? But I think they've done a better job, and I think the things you're complaining about are like first 15 minutes stuff. If it's first 15 minutes, I give them a pass. But if they would have shown the Dreaming City in the trailer, I would have been like, oh hell no.
Okay, so there's a line somewhere.
There's a line. Oh, for sure there's a line. And actually my threshold is pretty short. My threshold is like if it's past the first hour, I don't want to see it in the trailer. That's my threshold. But Destiny's pretty good about not showing it, I think.
Shout out to Forte real quick.
That's just my opinion.
He said, had bad luck, sure, for the $5 super chat, had bad luck solo queuing. Win 3, then reset. Win 5, reset. Dang, bro. I look up, now I have 23 wins, and going flawless just got harder. Ran over. So, yeah. Anyway, had to throw that one out there. But yeah, we're in this weird... We have the time for them to experiment. We'd like to see it. We know the story's got this weird timing of, like, we need the final chapter. We don't know when we're getting it. We know the 30th anniversary doesn't really connect to things. Got a couple holiday things coming up. We're in a weird month right now for Destiny. Granted, we also have like Lost Ark, Forza, a forever backlog right now. So it's a good thing. But if you're looking to try and, like, as you asked kind of in the very beginning of this whole discussion, how's Destiny doing for you? It's weird right now. It's not the best. I'm season pass rank 205, I think. I've played more than I honestly expected I would. Trials probably helped a decent amount of that. Going through the seasonal... some of those seasonal challenges be like 205 to 209. Like, just jump. So I've done most of the seasonal challenges, actually, as well. And I have the very specific ones that I haven't, like, naturally done. Use swords and fusion rifles in Gambit or something. I'm like, all right, haven't done that yet, obviously. But it's like, we are in this weird place right now where it's like... Like, what? I mean, it is. It's like...
Dude, we always have the seasonal lull.
We do, but this one's
weird.
longer.
It's weirder because of the story stuff.
Yeah,
it's also weird just because, like, we know what's going to happen at the beginning of Witch Queen, and so it's like, how are we going to get there? And my theory is that literally nothing's going to happen until the Witch Queen comes out, and that trailer that we saw is like the next story beat. That's honestly what I think is going to happen. I think the 20th anniversary will be a complete different distraction. And I think we won't hear anything from Savathun. Maybe we'll get like one extra thing, but it will not be substantial. And then all of a sudden it'll just jump to Witch Queen's master plan. And we'll be like, what the hell? That happens so quick. We'll get whiplash.
That's what I'm excited for. Like, I feel you. E. I know where you at. I know you hate the reveal. I think the thing just comes down. It's the perfect marketing tool, man.
I mean,
you get so many people.
Their trailers get hype. I get that, but it's just like,
bro. She's so. Listen, we've been talking about Savathun for so long in the lore.
Yeah,
like her name and her appearance itself is such a marketing bliss. They're gonna kill it with that. To me, all I care about is, again, like, the transition. What happened? What?
You know how long we have to wait for that stuff?
I know. We got.
That's
what's
wait. Rough. Yeah.
So, for me, Bungie 30th is gonna be fun for me. I want to see how they handle it. I want to see.
You gonna get the Dylan beanie?
Yeah, I'm gonna get the beanie. I'm gonna get all that stuff, man. I'm getting it all.
Sorry, it's 30th anniversary. I think we've been saying 20, or
you said 20, but yeah, either way.
I said 20. My bad.
Either. They've been around for a while. It's quite impressive.
No, they never existed before Halo Combat Evolved. Shut up, everyone. I'm just kidding.
They didn't exist.
2001. That's when they existed. All right.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Galley, low key. I want to see. I know he ain't, but I want to just see how it does in this.
I was hoping it would never come back. Honestly, this was the in case of emergency button. I get what it is. We've talked about that, but I was like, I was really hoping it wasn't going to make it into this because, like, we've had an issue. Yeah. This is going to be the third time. You want to talk about reissues?
Yeah, third time. But what it is, remember I told you, it's that big red button, the Commissioner Gordon button. When the season's too long. You know what I'm saying? It was a panic move. They knew they had no expansion coming out until February. What are they going to do with this community? What the hell? Gallahorn button, baby. To the day you hit that button, comes on through. So, but I do want to see the dungeon. I want to know what that's about, even with all the controversy and stuff like that. I think that's going to be my fun distraction. But when you tell me, yo, story beat, Mara, something happened. Cyrus, something happened.
That's when you'll see Twitter and be like, "Oh, I gotta log on." Not yet.
Yes,
Yeah.
That when I get that tweet, that's when I am lit. Like I cannot wait. So yeah, that's where I'm at right
Yeah,
now.
my guess that is going to be February 8th. I'm going to put a date on it. That is a long time, but if you go February 22nd, back it up February 8th, 2 weeks before, because they usually give like not a 1 week buffer, but usually 2 weeks is how they've kind of been doing the epilogue a little bit, and that's my guess.
I love how Bungie's new move is to literally put things on ice.
Yes.
Like when they're not ready to finish the story, they just like put Aramis on ice. They put Savathun in a crystal. Like they used to.
That is
they used
2 for
to
2.
give
Yeah.
They just literally like that's their move now. It's like, all right, well we didn't really finish this Aramis story. We kind of ran out of roadway here for the Beyond Light story. I don't know, just freezer.
Yeah. You know the problem with what happens on the 8th when they unfreeze whatever the crystal is? It's gonna be log in, talk to Mara, watch the ritual if there's a little cinematic or animated storyboard or whatever they do, and it's gonna be over. Like David said in chat, it's going to be February 8th in a minute, but it's like literally 5 minutes after the season starts. Or you're going to do one activity and it's going to be over. You're going to be done in 30 minutes. And that's
do one story mission, and then there's going to be Hive Guardian.
That's my issue with waiting that long. Something that small never lives up to the wait that we tend to get for it. The extended wait for that one thing is usually done so quickly. If it was in the sequence of events, if it was week 8, bam, then you got to know you wait for which queen. At least you kind of get it in sequence. Right. And then they're going to have, like the trailer's going to do the hype they need anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to see a trailer and be like, I'm here, I'm ready. Yep, sign me up, whatever I have to do for which queen, put me in, I'm good to go. Like, I'm good to go, coach. But I was like, the fact that we're going to get that thing, it's going to be like, okay, that was cool. Now we know, now we still got to wait another couple weeks. But it's like, if it would have been last month sometime or something like that, I think it still would have hit better.
They just want to combine it, because what's going to happen is we got to wait hella long, right? We do this stupid wait. February 8th come, we like, okay, go story events, okay. Then those Witch Queen trailers are going to start
of
pumping.
Course, yeah.
And when those start pumping, everybody was talking slick about Destiny. All of a sudden, and the population comes back, and everybody, oh my God, did you see? It's the cycle, baby. It's the cycle. You've been through this rodeo before. You know what this does. And Destiny is right where it is, killing everything like it always do. So I'm not.
The only problem is this time they've got more competition than they've ever had.
But one thing I agree with Travis though. I think their strategy is they have shown whenever there's competition, sometimes you go on ice and you just wait it out. You just do what you got to do. But when they hit, few can withstand. And let's be honest, single player games ain't really gonna affect Destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll go, you'll play.
Elden Ring doesn't have the same.
Yeah, it's not. You got to be another, either looter shooter or MMO in a space to have some type of thing. Because listen, when Bungie comes outside, and that you know how Twitter do when that marketing blitz hit, just with the Witch Queen stuff before this. We was like, oh my God, she's got Hive Guardians. Oh my God, you hear that? Like it's a whole different animal. That they need. I hope everybody in the marketing team gets raises, because literally they have saved this game every time, every year of its existence. We do, even on terrible season content.
Well, season the worthy trailer. I have yeah.
With the best
PR team and video games.
Yes, PR team. Oh my God, they're the greatest. They literally. They owe a lot to that squad for sure.
Oh yeah, I was like, I know it's coming.
I'll miss the Activision days. That was I don't know if you guys ever. Actually, I would have seen you there if you were there. But yeah, back in the day when Activision was like the thing, they used to do these bougie events where they'd fly you up to Seattle.
That was like the Destiny 2 reveal where we saw people in like the hangar, right?
That one was like a one-day event, but they used to do on-site review events where they'd rent out like this hotel. You get 3 meals a day and snacks, and they'd put you up in the hotel. There was a week of my life where I didn't leave a hotel. Literally, I took all my meals in the hotel. I played Destiny in this massive room with all these other press people in the hotel. And then at the end of the day, I would go back and just fall into a bed and then wake up the next day to play more Destiny. That was like my entire life. Those were, speaking of like, now that we're talking about the marketing and PR team, like I feel like they knew oh, if you give them like a cool experience, it'll kind of like color their view of the game. And so they used to do these like so bougie. It was crazy, man.
Here's the
I just
champagne and
remember thinking,
caviar,
like,
even though the game sucks, right?
yeah, exactly. Like that was the thing. And everybody would always be like, you know, I would go there and I'd be like, oh no, obviously I'm a totally like unbiased, objective reviewer, you know, doing what I can, but it's like you make friends. It's like going to camp, you know, like you're there with all your buddies who also like the same things you do, and you're all
amazing.
You feel special because you're getting to go and play it first. And you got all the devs. Oh, do you want to do an interview with me? Let's talk right now. We'll talk about the art direction of the game. And it's like, oh my god.
Here's the crazy thing right now. And I know this data metric does not represent the entire community, but look how impressive. Yeah. We are all complaining right now how dead it is, and you know we're gonna have to wait. And
you're looking at the current players or something.
Xbox, I'm looking at just the Xbox most played games right now. Destiny is number 6 in a dead season with no loot, and we're bitching about trials. 6.
It's Iron Banner, Cog. It's always been Iron Banner. That's what's carried this game as far as it has gone.
So all this Destiny killer talk that I hear from other people that don't like the game, and they're literally in their worst position right now in a long time, right? During this horrible seasonal lull. And it's the 6th played game. What's the concurrent? What's the joint on Steam? I got to put me on E. I want to know what's going on with the numbers. That's
I'm looking right now.
It's insane.
Steam charts. Yeah. You want to know 48 hours?
It's literally next to Warzone, Fortnite, Apex, Grand Theft, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, and there's Destiny 2.
By the way, Grand Theft Auto 5 just surpassed the number of PS2s sold.
Yeah, 156 million or 157 million.
It has now sold more copies of that game than they sold consoles during the PS2.
So September of 2021, 89,000. October, 66,000. Last 30 days,
what was it?
63,000.
There's a drop of Steam.
But yeah, I mean, playing an hour ago or 48 hours, 24-hour peak, 67,000. Playing an hour ago, 60,000.
They're staying right there, though.
It's literally hanging around 60K on Steam, which is just bonkers. Like,
bonkers.
That is crazy.
People are playing this game.
Oh, yeah.
Still. And see, that's the difference. That's why I told you I was worried earlier, because it's like with them trying to change anything, because it's like, yo, they're doing well. You know what I'm saying? When things are technically not happy by the hardcore, so to speak, like the hardcore, hardcore.
And that's why the vocal minority, and they're probably like, I don't care about the vocal minority when 60,000 other people are playing this.
And they shouldn't. I think I said last week that like they're not making this game for streamers, right? They're making it for people. But I still think like the way you do lose is you think that like, we've always made it through, so we'll just not change anything. You can't let it stagnate. I think that they need to be on guard. They need to be afraid of the next Destiny killer, even though they're just sort of standing over the graves of Anthem and Division and all these other Destiny killers that
Borderlands Outriders
got brutally murdered. Yeah.
It's over for Destiny. It's over. It's dead now. This is the new
dead game.
Dead game.
Yep.
So crazy.
My God, dude.
One actually did mention, though, when it comes to PvP, if Halo Infinite PvP actually hits...
Halo gonna hurt. Halo gonna hurt.
I was like, and that...
I don't think so.
Halo gonna hurt.
I was like, it's going to be quiet on PvP for a little while, I think, because of that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, even the Insider program, when the Insider flights happened, the player base for PvP in Destiny went down. I saw somebody post that on Twitter.
To their point, the timing is perfect, right? Dead season now. Halo comes. They go underground, right?
And they got the 30th anniversary, though.
They got the 30th anniversary. Try to buff it to get a little light.
Yep. Little financial injection there.
Financial injection. You take the bump from Halo. Then come February, you throw out that trailer, and whatever Sabathun's doing, they right back in biz. So... yeah, I definitely agree. I did forget about Halo. They're definitely going to get hit by Halo.
I love how you're like an unofficial ambassador for the PR team at Bungie now. You're like giving them strategies. Hey guys, here's how you're going to do it. Yeah,
I love it.
I actually think they the reason I think they started selling the 30th anniversary is because they knew about what was going to happen to the game in December. Because like, even if you don't play the 30th anniversary package now, you already bought it because they marketed it to you before Halo was out, and you bought it thinking, yeah, of course I'm going to play it. So there's probably a group of people who bought it and are not even going to make time for it. But yeah, I think if there's any games that have like similar players, it's Halo. But that only goes so far, right? Like they're not going to lose any players on PlayStation.
Yeah, there's not going to be a raid. There's going to be, you know, an 8 to 10 hour, 12 hour, however long the campaign could be, 20 hours for all I know. It does have a finite point, and then it's the PvP life. And then unfortunately for something like Forge, which I think would really actually give it a lot of legs, we're probably 6 months away from that one. Like they said like the season after is co-op and the season after that's Forge. So it is potentially 6 months. And I know it's going to have legs for, you know, campaigns every year, however they decide to do all this stuff, it's fine. But Halo will be one of those for PvP that is probably going to make people, if nothing else, if it hits well, which sounds like in all of the tests and stuff that it already did. But I was like, I think it's going to get people to push even harder for PvP properness when it comes to Destiny, because if they have ranking, if they have all these esport events, and granted, it's a much more balanced game, and I get that because there's only a set number of weapons, there's not roles,
balanced,
right?
I know it's designed that way.
It's like it's specific, but in turn, Bungie like still is gonna have to like, and they have some plan, but they're gonna have to learn. One random other topic I did want to ask you guys as kind of a way to wrap this thing up. Cool Guy had a really good video that I wanted to kind of mention basically because it was one basically saying, and this is where I wanted to see if you guys had an opinion about this or otherwise. He basically said there's really not a whole lot of variance when it comes to builds in Destiny. Did you see what I'm talking about? And I was like, and I've been asking for this for a while, and I'm sitting there screaming at like Armor 3.0 and everything else. I didn't know if you had a chance to watch the video. Did you, Cog?
Like a little bit of it,
like basically just saying the way stats are designed, the way things are kind of designed, you're basically pushed into almost one loadout, especially for PvP, and PvP is going to be similar. But do you guys think we have any hope in changing that, or do you even agree with what Cool Guy said first? I guess if you've seen it.
Yeah, shout out to him. I mean, the thing with him, he's so good. He's what I love about Cool Guy, he's very nuanced in specific builds and things that people think are useless in Destiny. I love that about him. Like he has a skill with that. And he made some good points. You know, the game pushes you in specific build directions, and other things that seem to be a certain play style, they don't lean that way. The data shows that the way Bungie is designed it doesn't lean that way. And I think it is something that they need to concern themselves with. I think that all the stuff we've always talked about, you know what I'm saying, the Armor 3.0 stuff, the, you know, skill bonuses, stat bonuses, stuff like that. But even with weapon play, you know, from distance and stuff like that. And it's a heavy hand on certain play styles and certain aspects of play style, even with the statistical stuff that we've always talked about, like when he talked about, you know, recovery and how highly valued that's
literally like the number one stat. Like nothing else compares to recovery in the entire game.
Right. And me and you have always, you know, since the Flashpoint days, talked about like mobility truly making you faster. And, you know,
mobility still cracks me up.
Bro, like, how is that? How? It's like it's your ADS
we talked about that
strafing.
So many times.
Oh my god! But yeah, it's like, I mean, that's where I kind of always come back to. It's like, could you ever get to a point where you had, you know, 6 hunters who were like agile and nimble and quicker, they jumped higher, they ran faster, versus 6 titans who were just tanky and slow? Right. Could that ever
be a hilarious take?
Could that ever be a thing?
If they don't want to do that because they're worried, because honestly, speed is like the name of the game in Destiny comp, so that would like obviously the best one. So I get why they like under delivered on mobility rather than over delivering, because we all saw what season of the Fast Warlock was like.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
That was pretty great. Remember where they? Yeah, you know. Don't lie to me. Where you guys were flying at 90 miles per hour across the map was unreal.
You're like a freaking pinball around the map, dude. Calm down.
I mean, I was still killing. I was still killing you guys because you can't aim your warlocks. But yeah, that was wild.
Don't have to aim.
You know what they could do? Is they could just take out the ability for you to determine your spin, your look sensitivity, and make that mobility. There you go.
Oh, then you're messing with the controls. I can't do that.
Look sensitivity. Isn't that part of mobility? I just want to know, like, why. It's always been weird to me that some settings that are sort of like your character's movement can just be edited in the setting, and you can kind of just choose how fast or slow you are. But then other ones, it's like, no, you need the stat to do that. You need a stat to move faster. It's just a weird game.
Yeah, it's just
people would be so pissed if your look sensitivity was tied to your mobility stat, though.
But yeah, that was just kind of the random question. It's just like builds, especially in PvP. There's not like multiple ways to really play. High mobility is going to help most. High recovery is going to help most. And then whether you go for supers, but if you go for like punches and things like that, he went really deep into certain exotics, like get leaned into more than others because of specific things. And then you got like, hunters, mobility helps the dodge. Warlocks literally win the whole thing because everybody already wants recovery, so you don't have to worry as much about the other two, so then you can lean into the abilities more. And then Titans over here getting screwed on resilience because that doesn't mean a damn thing to anybody. You just need a minimum so you can't get like 2-tapped, or you can use your wall. But then again, you have Titan's Ramparts, which if you do use your wall a lot, then that thing kind of breaks. Like, it is weird that like we are at a point where it does feel like there is a very specific way to play. And there's not a lot of choice. Like, they want you to have RNG and stats, but it's like just because the RNG and stats means you aren't getting to the one that they know everybody wants. And it is kind of like there's not multiple ways to build a character out. You take something like any other RPG that they want, and I guess that's the thing for me is I want them. I don't know if they'll ever keep leaning into the RPG, MMO action RPG, and I'm like, you are missing.
They will
on the RPG pretty hard.
Even if you just look at the light subclass like redoing what they're doing, that's so RPG heavy. Like everything they're doing about like customizing, your artifacts and your perks and all that stuff is so RPG. So I think they've shown over the past couple of years that they're dedicated to like the RPG. It's like but
it's like an RPG ultralight to me. It does not feel that strong.
I disagree. In a game with 50 currencies, I don't think you can say it's ultralight. I think you can say
you would love to take some of those out.
Yeah, I know. We all would. Would any of us not do that if we had a magic wand? But
they're arbitrary currencies. They're not typically helpful. It's not like I have 6 different gems. Like this one gives me strength over here. It's like I have currencies for infusion for arbitrary. Like most of them don't.
I think part of the love of Destiny is that you can play it fairly casually. It doesn't require you to learn all of the systems to play it. And my problem with MMOs is it's the exact opposite. You cannot play those unless you learn 40 encyclopedic systems first. And so I think they have to pick and choose their battles. I think they can do an armor. No, I do not want that. I don't think most people want that.
He wants that.
I want more of it.
If he wants that, that's fine. But I think they should sort of lean away from the MMO, like at least the traditional MMO. I like that it's massively multiplayer online. I just think the traditional MMO of like making everything like a really high barrier of entry. I think they can do Armor 3.0. I think they can rework the stat system because it's already doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I think they can do they can redo the light subclasses and make things just a little more nerdy because players get that. But I think they should try to stay away from some of the stuff that turns off a lot of people from like Warframe. Like those systems in Warframe are wild. There's just like it's wackadoo. There's so many different systems in those games. World of Warcraft is way too complicated for people. That game's not enjoyable. It's so complicated. I think a lot of games are like that.
And there's a balance. They don't have to go into like level 100 wood crafting for chopping down trees for 20 hours. I get that, but also it's like, as we've said, it's like the stats. And again, the way the stat
system doesn't make sense.
The stats don't do, and for me, that's why I want armor to get a revamp is because I keep saying it's like I have, class items ever to delete. I don't care what it is. There's not a point for class items, 0 point. And again, if you go through outside of farming for better stats on an exotic, if you get a decent stat roll, and you masterwork, if you play enough to masterwork like Solar, Arc, Void, and Stasis. You have 4 sets of armor, and you literally don't need more of them. You could potentially have 8 if you really wanted to have a PvE and PvP set, but that'd be a bit much.
The class item has devolved into whatever the seasonal artifact meta
That's literally
mod.
it. What's the high
That's it.
the high
What's
mod
the
that you got to
highest
put in
thing?
there? That's it.
Yeah, it's going to cost 7.
Yeah.
You know
So you
what I'm saying?
can't do anything
You
else.
can't do anything else. And you got to keep that particle deconstructed. What was the other one with the grenade launches the season before? What
I
was
don't
the name
remember
of
the
that one?
name, but yeah,
Yep.
God mode
That
grenade
one.
launchers. Yeah.
God mode grenade launcher. This is what it is right now. And I think
Mountaintop.
right. I agree with Trav. Yes, I agree with Trav that is going to be they're going from a build standpoint. The subclass 3.0, like Void 3.0, we're gonna get the builds. We're gonna get a lot of build diversity. But I'm with you on the base level, the stat level. I don't think they're changing that. I mean, I'm hopeful. I would hope they change it. I still feel a lot of those systems are still tied into engine. That's just my gut. You know, a lot of that stuff. I don't know if we ever will get that revamp. You know, I'm still waiting for my Division Legendary set bonus revamp stuff.
I think that's the most dire thing they need, and that's so easy,
Set
and
bonuses,
it's not super nerdy and confusing like some of the other RPG systems that people have proposed. My thing is, I already think the mod system is like a little too complicated. The stat system, you have
they
to
had to make them
read and
solar
explain it.
arc. You already are limited so much on what to put in there. Then you got to have a solar piece of armor to see this one, and you can't even see the other mod. Like when you're in the solar piece, it's not that it's like it's grayed out because it's arc. You can't see. You're like, I got a mod. Where is it?
But even then, like, not only is there not a good way to see all your mods, but there's not even a good way to see what mods are out there and which ones well, I mean, you can look at the collection system, but you get them from so many different sources. So it's like the same problem with the weapons. Like, oh, where did you get that? Oh, you had to be here 4 seasons ago when Osiris decided to open a theme park and we all wore animal costumes that season. You're like, what? Like, I can't do that. Like, it's just insane.
Or you got to go put an Umbral engram into this one thing and hope you get the right roll.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the mod like discovery is bizarre to me. I think they need a better way to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. For people who come into the game and like they don't have a lot of these extremely necessary mods like protective light or the rocket launcher one, ordnance, and there's ones that were really good. And it's like if you weren't there when Warbind came out, and if you weren't there, like now you gotta hope that some people don't even know that like the 801 and what you call it, Banshee are really even selling these things, right? Like it's very difficult to play catch up on Destiny as a new player, and I agree. Like it's still all over the place, and the fact that you have to now have a Siva version of the armor so you can fit the Siva exclusive mod. Like it's artificial.
Well, that's like the Stasis. Yeah, because Stasis right now you have the Stasis mods and the Stasis armor. And then, whenever the green or whatever color comes next, as you said, whenever that one comes with Nightfall, because they were working on it but didn't quite make it into this expansion. So now are you going to do a fifth one, and put that in and make us have 5 sets of armor and not give me any vault space? Like that's the problem.
We know what the next 2 colors are going to be, right?
Green and red, just Christmas.
Black.
I guess you could go black, yeah.
Yeah, because it'll be like Lightfall or
Void, the Veil.
They gotta give us like a shadow element. It'll be like Veil or something like that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, black doesn't look great on a UI for numbers and stuff like that. So what do you do there?
Darkness mode. Destiny's after Lightfall, Destiny's gonna live in darkness mode. All the menus are gonna be black with white text.
That's it. Lightfall. There you go.
But that's the problem. Is they got rid of sunsetting. Green. Oh, we don't actually have yellow. That's actually true.
Ooh.
Yellow would work with green. Yeah, get your primaries in there.
Green and yellow because of the sports team. Flawless logic there. Yeah, Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers outfit. There we go.
Like wrong team, but that's fine. They like Seattle.
It'll be green and black. Come on, we all know.
Green would be cool for like the little poison. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's what everybody thought. You have Hive, you have poison, you got Thorn.
I still think they're right.
Yeah, it's like I think that's supposed to have been there. They just didn't get it in this expansion for whatever reason. But
we don't know that.
They flat out said it. So if they come back at it now, they apparently made miracles happen.
Misdirection.
But generally, like,
yeah, you're probably right.
The vault is like an issue for me because even I'm trying to get down to where I just keep one of each weapon, just one, and then I've got too many exotics. I do need to sort through those, but like one of each weapon, and then like one of each exotic, you're almost gonna have a full vault, almost.
Oh, Bullcock prediction.
Who keeps exotics though?
I do.
Do you have a reason to keep exotic weapons aside from the ones with unique rolls?
Because I'm like, they're going to eventually buff something that's trash.
Yeah, but you take it out of collections.
Yeah, you can do
You
that.
can pull it. Like, if I've infused it recently, but if I see an exotic that's like 1293, yeah, that's gone.
Yeah,
so I don't keep those. But if I've got some that I've mixed up like I pulled a Borealis and it's like 1329, yeah, I'm going to keep that for the next 3 months because I never know. So
my bold prediction for your vault space, I think so. Sunset is coming back.
Man, that's gonna go over really fun. That's like gas on a fire. I want to watch that.
I think they're gonna sell a separate vault space app like Pokemon did for Pokemon storage.
There you go.
You want to see the first time I like buy silver faster than I ever have is I gotta buy vault space. We'll do it in a heartbeat.
It'll be monthly subscription. You'll pay $10 a month for like the middle package. It'll be $5 if you want like 500 slots. It'll be $10 a month if you want 1,000, and then for $20 a month you'll be able to store however much, just like Google Drive, you buy like a couple terabytes.
2 terabytes or 100.
You have a Dropbox.
Yeah, it'll be like Dropbox.
Destiny Dropbox.
Yeah.
No, it's the Destiny.
It'll be
it's the Destiny content vault.
I'm done.
The Destiny gear vault.
Dropbox.
Don't encourage them, Chav. Don't encourage them.
Just telling you, that is the model, and it actually is kind of the only one that makes sense because storing items does require server space.
Well, even my brother on Final Fantasy 14 said he had to spend like $5, maybe $10, and he's got so much more storage. I'm like, one time, do you have any idea how many people in this game one time would pay like $5 or $10 to be like, just double my vault? Just like, you want a transaction?
Oh, bam,
in a heartbeat. Like,
people do it.
60,000 people paid $10 today. Bam.
I just want to see the world burn.
When Sunset comes back?
Like, this company is the same company that vaulted your content. We got to bring Hogue on for that episode.
Oh, God.
Like, if they announce this, please bring on. This is the same company that took our gear, vaulted it away, and now got the audacity. Bro, they are going to get raked over the coals. But people ain't going to get it. Hardcore ain't going to get it.
I will buy that. That's one of those where I'm like, I don't care.
And that's the thing. That would only be for the hardcore because
I will buy my server space. It's fine with me. Like,
Hasn't Bungie said that real like Destiny casuals do not have a problem with vault space at all? Haven't they said that multiple times? That basically other people have asked what about vault space, and they've been like, dude, it's just you. You're the only one with this problem. And I kind of believe that because I've never had a problem with vault space, but not because I'm a casual, because I'm just unsentimental. I just get rid of rolls like right away. I'm like, oh, I don't care about this anymore. Bye.
The reason for me has always been I know the cycle of buff.
Yeah, they always are. My machine guns are going to come back, or the snipers are going to come back, and it's like, you keep options because what did they say recently? Adrenaline Junkie is going to get a buff in December. Like, out of nowhere, this random perk that was like, well, that's kind of trash. Well, now they're going to make it good. Well, they even tell you now on Twitter, hold on to those rolls because they could be good here in about a month. I'm like, I don't have a place to put them.
Let's be real. People pulling out Cartesian coordinates out of nowhere. Like,
exactly. That thing all of a sudden.
Out now, that's crazy. And the energy, that's arc.
Contingency plan.
Contingency plan. People that had that. Like, Bungie just, it's always, so it's like, I'm a victim of it. I'm like, yo, I know this is trash now.
That's the problem.
Yep, but this roll right here is so good on this trash archetype that I'm just gonna keep it because I know they're gonna buff it. And when they come back, I'm like, yes, I'm good. I kept that very rare trash thing that is now God tier. That's how they do. Man.
Yeah. Well, as always, I think that definitely covered our Bungie pleas for a little while. Give me some damn vault space, or yeah.
Okay, Destin.
I'll be like, it has been however long since we've been asking for vault space. I'll keep it going for Destin. So that way when he comes on here, he doesn't even have to say it. I got him covered. But overall, I'd say this was a fun episode.
Yes, sir.
Anything else for you gentlemen to add before we go? Anything that you guys are needing to get off your chest before we wrap this episode up?
No, this is good. This is really good. I was like, I was dreading trials talk because I'm like I was getting exhausted. But I was like, this is a really fun episode. Like I was like, I really enjoyed this one.
We kind of glossed over the trials too. We didn't even really spend much time on it. We've all just we're so sick of talking about the trials controversy. Yeah.
It was fun. I'm glad you had the other talking points too, because it was so fun to talk about those other things and just what we want. But yeah, dope episode as always.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, as we wrap this thing up, we'll start with you, Travis. Where's the next thing people can find from you? Or if you can, you probably can't even give an embargo date if you're working on anything, but watch IGN, look for this name of Travis Northup and just search that daily at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Type in Travis Northup IGN every single day and
see if he's got something. Yeah. Give him lots of views.
I've got a review live right now, Riders Republic, which I liked a lot. Spoiler alert, I gave it an 8 out of 10. That means it's great. I really enjoyed it. I've got another preview I'm working on, and I'm also working on the wiki for Forza 5. I'm going to be finding every single XP board and fast travel station in that game. So I'm this is actually my first wiki assignment. So I have no idea if I'm going to be qualified or good at it, but I do love the Forza games, so I should be able to find them all. Right? How hard could it be? He said his last words.
Final last words.
How hard could it be?
You can find me. You can find me every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific. On a show called Bitcast. We compete directly with the Iron Lords podcast, and we talk trash on them the entire time. Actually, that's most of our podcast is us just like talking about how they're amateurs and all that stuff. I do the show with a guy named Ames, an industry veteran, a legend, and the live action Fred Flintstone, a guy named Dan, which is very fun. So you can find me in those places. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm at Ty Guy Travis, and if you don't follow me, that's probably a good choice.
Selling yourself so well as always. We appreciate it, Travis. Cog, what do you got? Any awesome guests coming? Any episodes or videos they should look up on ILP? What do you got?
Yeah. Check out my Bad Addict, man. He did his first kind of major review for video review for Forza Horizon 5. Very honored to get that on the channel. It was great. It's hilarious. The Forza haters perspective. I mean, the driving game haters perspective of Forza Horizon 5. So it was really cool.
Definitely pick your audience well on that one.
Yeah. Like he knew what he was doing. Salute to him, but was able to get the code and knock that out. So check that out. IOP this week. No, guess we're just gonna keep it regular. We may have some surprise popping.
Just hosts all week for you. It's light work, man. Light work.
I need it, bro. Too many podcasts, and sometimes that's why I said I really enjoyed this show, because I was like, sometimes you just gotta be with the fam. You know what I mean? Just with the fam, like how we doing today.
Well, hey, Travis, if you've ever needed to roast somebody, I need you to start stocking up for one of our guests, because when Mooch finally comes on this show, I need you to light him up.
Light him up.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Mooch.
Yeah, because he's been bumped a couple times trying to get ready to be on the show. I'd be like, dude,
ready.
Gotta
it has been way too long since I've made somebody cry. So I'm very excited.
Good. We don't want to quite do that to our guests.
Oh no, we will.
He said, no, we will. We got that. Check out the Friday Duke this week. Some fun conversations with Mr. Matty Plays, talking about the Sega partnerships, checking all that good stuff out, what's going on in the Xbox world. And Last Word Podcast, like and subscribe. Hey. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell when you can.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends, you know what I mean? All 50 of you still in here at the end, man. Salute, man. A lot of fun. Chat was absolutely hilarious as always. Trav, the homie, E, the homie. Tons of fun as always. Yeah, man, fun week. It was just, I needed a week like this just to kind of decompress and just talk about gaming without always prepping for big guests all the time. So, but we'll still have big guests. E, what's going on with you? And you gotta tag me. Wait, E, I gotta put you on blast. Please tag me when you tweet your videos, sir. Tag me in your videos so we can get that promotion going on, brother.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. So
also, talk more about Elden Ring. I feel like you don't talk enough about that game.
Yes.
Oh my god! Like I just want to break down that entire 15 minutes frame by frame, but that would be way too long.
I want a video of you talking about Elden Ring, and I want you to be shirtless and just covered in sweat the whole time. Because honestly,
What?
that would, because I feel like that's
What?
your energy, right? Like
Shirtless and covered in sweat. What did I just get
Yeah.
done
You went to-
rowing
with, like,
outside? I was outside
like,
rowing
no,
in
like-
the Texas heat, and then I just
No.
walked in to record a video. Go.
Yeah, not physical sweat. I want it to be like that mental sweat, like with the yarn board behind you, and you've got you're like going through the trailer, and you look like you haven't slept in like 3 days, and you got no shirt on for some reason. Maybe blood. I don't know. We
are past Halloween. Yeah, that's for the OnlyFans.
Okay.
Dramatic got it right. That's on the OnlyFans. That's where that goes.
I love how Travis always has you as like this country bumpkin.
I live in Dallas, man. I live in like one of the biggest cities in like the States, and yeah,
it's still
kind of guy.
I'm just saying, do you want views or not, E? Do you want views or not?
What are you willing to do? It's for the content. It's for the content,
man,
right?
That OnlyFans would be popping if you do that. So I'm telling you, I don't know how your wife gonna feel, but your OnlyFans gonna be popping.
She's like, hey, you paying some bills. We're going to make it work. No.
That's right.
Get out there, baby. Get
out.
there.
Go work it. Work that corner. Work it.
Work that corner, baby. Hilarious.
I digress. Actually, I think we digressed. But
I digressed.
We definitely digressed.
Travis digressed. No, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go Game Pass or Premium for Forza. If I wait like 4 days, that might give me time to go for Lost Ark, actually. So if I put some time into the Lost Ark beta, focus on that, then I can just wait like 4 days and play Forza on Game Pass, which will probably suffice what I'm going for.
If you do, can we, all three of us, do a Forza cross-play session? I would love to test that out. PC, you know what I'm saying, console, all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's try that. All of us, for the most part. That would be kind of fun. You know what I'm saying? Let's try a Forza session.
Yes.
Shout out to Dr. Fu, by the way, with the raid. If you guys are coming over, thank you. I didn't even know YouTube raids, but if you said go over to another channel on somebody's live, that's impressive, by the way. If you managed a YouTube raid, no, I think he just manually told people to go here or put a link in his chat. So that's some dedication right there. So thank you, Dr. Fu.
It seems like they joined right when we started talking about the shirtless raid. So I think
that
was perfect timing.
Yeah, you guys.
Now you have to.
We were literally talking about like Destiny for like an hour and a half. Other games before that. You guys get here in the 5 minutes when this place goes to hell. Yeah,
shirtless Forza stream.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm in a racing helmet and no shirt.
Nice. The helmet stayed on. Ebontis edition.
Yeah,
there you go.
You gotta keep the helmet on. Gotta be safe in these bumpies.
Lord Shax.
What else you got going on?
No, yeah, checking out Lost Ark. Obviously got Xur tomorrow. Not really doing a whole bunch in the World of Trials because it's not there. And then Forza. But yeah, still just like working through guides. Gonna work on my solo prophecy guide. Work back on a presage guide. Just kind of some of those for guides of stuff that people can do when they're coming in. And just guides for like newer people for people who are still going to be tripping into this game every day because there's 60,000 people playing it. And most of them are not on the level that we are on. So trying to help out the ones that I can. So that's mostly what I'm doing. But if you guys enjoy the show, if you got this far, for one, if you enjoy the show, go find us on audio platforms like Spotify, iTunes, anything like that. Leave us a review over there. Also here on the channel, drop the likes, subscribe to all of these awesome gentlemen. Follow them on Twitter. Go read the LogNet articles. Go read the IGN articles. Hit F5 6,000 times. Get those numbers up. But for all of you guys out there, this has been a very fun episode. I want to thank my host, as always, Travis, Cog. You guys are fantastic. And this was just a fun one. A chat, kind of some grievances, letting, air in the dirty laundry a little bit right now, just kind of getting everything out there. It is one of those weeks. It's just going to kind of be that way, and the distractions are going to start coming. So I think as we wrap up this episode, you guys are all fantastic. Thank you for the raid, by the way. Sorry you caught us at the weirdest moment possible. Thank you, Travis.
Or did you?
People are going to go. People are going to
subscribes come through.
Watch yourselves. I feel what we doing, Travis. I see you got the algorithm.
Yeah, see, I've got a Patreon and then the OnlyFans. That's the one you got to dig deep to find.
That's right. The only thing you're missing is you got to start making conspiracy videos. Just like the more wacky. That's like the other thing on YouTube that's real hot right now is if you can You can just make some unsubstantiated claims. That'd be great.
I'll probably stay out of that craziness. That seems to lead down a weird. That probably leads to a weird rabbit hole.
Well, fine.
All right.
Suit
Well,
yourself. I'm just trying to market you, bro.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you all very much. We're going to wrap this one up here. So episode number 172 for November 4th. Thank you all for the support and the love out there. You guys are amazing. We will see you soon. And for this episode, it has been
The
last word.
Did I say it like 2 minutes? Oh, yeah, we got to do this. The last word.
See you guys.
Peace.